26 meeting. We've got a couple of public hearings on board tonight. First is for C.R. Hansen Construction. There's another one for Bressett, a reduced frontage lot, special permit, and then a public hearing for GM Properties, otherwise known as the Villages. And then another one for a public hearing continued for Fabiola Cesar Esteverne, Ponican Hill subdivision. And then we've got some other things on the agenda.
I don't see very good, but one place, pretty close to
Mr. Hansen, we start with your plans.
You guys have the plans up there in front of you? I dropped
We
off.
do, we have.
I figured that Mike Andre was gonna be here, because he's the one that reviewed everything, so.
Yeah.
He typically doesn't come to me.
Oh, he doesn't come to him? Oh, I've seen him here a couple times, but,
Yeah, unless we request them ahead of time.
I
which
see,
we-
okay.
Which we can do, Mr. Hanson, if you want to.
yeah.
So you formalized the prints, appreciate that.
Yep. So basically, it's the, you just want me to do a quick run through of what it is?
Yeah, please, yeah.
So what it is, it's basically a private way, and we're just looking to improve the private way to access a lot. Yeah, it's shown on the plans there. Everything was reviewed by Graves Engineering. I think Randy has reviewed that with Mike too, right, Randy?
Yeah.
Yep. So all the comments that were there were addressed. There's really not too much more. We're just going to make it adequate to gain access.
Yeah.
It's going to remain a private way. There was a couple. Randy, did you ever hear back from the DPW guy?
Yes, they have those comments as well.
Okay. So of all the comments, they've all been addressed, correct? From what Mike Andre told after the second review?
I've got Mike's review from December 31st, those are the most recent ones. for
Okay.
sure. His response.
Was there any comments that needed to be addressed any longer? I think they were all taken care of from what my engineer told me.
Yeah, let me just read through them. He's
Sure,
got,
sure.
so this is the Beach Middle Road, we're just reviewing the Beach Middle Road application.
Randy, you know those 11 by 17s I dropped off the other day? Are those here, the 11?
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
because that's the most recent updated plans of the 11 by 17s.
Like the open one, or open for discussion anyway, Mr. Hanson, is still the private way and improvements to the private way. We could talk about that.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it looks like the other ones have been addressed.
So the one thing, Bill, fire department written comments are not included. It looks like there's a verbal approval according to Graves, but he said he did not receive any correspondence.
Yeah, I think Carlson at the time, I sent an email chain to Randy about
Number 11.
the correspondence that we had gotten from them, so Randy has that via email I sent to him.
Yeah. Carlson approved it, or the chief?
He just basically made a comment that, you know, obviously paved is the best, but if we can do gravel, it's really, there's no like set in stone thing that he said, but I think it's pretty much just having the adequacy to get there, but they're all gravel roads down in there, so we're proposing a gravel road.
grant the waiver to allow Mr. Hanson to improve the private way.
Have you, Mr. Hanson, seen the letter from Councilor LaValle?
Yeah, didn't, I've responded to that.
Yep.
I gave the correspondence, went to Randy also.
Mhm.
Randy, you received that? I'm not sure he heard me, but
Yeah.
I received correspondence from LaValle. I wrote him back.
So the issue, the main issue is really the improvement for the Beach Middle Road. This was a point of discussion from our last meeting.
Yep.
The improvements will, and opening up that road to get easement and make improvements to it are going to affect the existing septic system that's been mapped out and long used by the Fierros.
So I have,
So,
on the Board of Health, I asked the Board of Health for any records. There's no records on file.
yeah.
So who knows if there's a septic there, where the septic is, there's no septic plan, there's nothing on file, if it's a cesspool, has it had a Title V inspection, has it been crushed over people driving over, so we don't, there's no records of that, that's just kind of in the wind, like, you know, you could throw a couple, there's pictures of some cones, but there's been nobody there to witness if the septic is really there,
Mhm.
if it's working, and it's suitable to be used for somebody to habitate there, so I'm not really too sure about that, because I couldn't come up with any records.
Yeah, not having records doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Well, we
It
would
certainly
need
would
proof
have
of that.
more evidence
Yes.
if it was documented with sewer, water and sewer and the Board of Health. but-
Board of Health should probably witness that, take a look at it and mark it out, and there's no records, there's no dimensions, nothing.
Mhm.
If there was, then I would have my engineer take a look at it and maybe see if we can either mitigate
Can I
it, figure out.
respond to that?
Yep, just a second. So what about considering the options, which we were discussing at last meeting as well? You know, if there's options, we should certainly consider those, and using Highland Road maybe for ingress and egress rather than
That's,
the Beach Middle Road.
it's not gonna happen, because this is all,
Why?
it's all legal, it's all, so it depends how the deed's written. The deed's written that that parcel that's there has interest in Beach Road, it's in the deed. So Middle Road is, you don't have interest in it, you can't improve it. So the entire reason why it needs to come off of Beach Road is because it's bounded and described, it has, that private way has legal interest to improve it to reach that lot. So it's more of a legal thing than it is just, you can't just cut a road in wherever you want if you don't have rights to it.
So you don't think the Highland Road way, you haven't seen this in
You
the
can't do
easement
it.
on any of the properties?
No, because it's not in the deed. So when somebody is bounded and described, right, they're allowed to improve it to access the way. It's basically an easement. The private way is basically nothing more than an easement. So she has every right to have her septic under the road. She has every right to have a leach field under the road. And we have every right to pass and repass.
On any of the ways, you have a right to pass and repass, so including Highland Road.
Yeah.
But Highland Road is the road that runs on the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
So why would we have to use Highland if we can use Beach?
To avoid a conflict.
Well, I don't know if it's a conflict. She has the right to have the septic system under there. She has that right. We have the right to pass and repass. That's the way the laws are written. 187, Section 5, MGL says if you have interest in the private way, you have every right to have an electric line under it. You have every right to have a septic system, a water line under it. It's just like it's basically an easement for everybody, but you can't block it and you can't interfere it. So she has every right to have it there, you know, again, and we have every right to pass and repass.
Right, and there's another road there, Highland Road. What if we can get that improved and you use that in order to avoid beach?
Who's paying to engineer that? I've already paid to engineer it to come from here, and I have the right to do that, so I don't think it's a conflict. I think what we need to do is, if she's claiming there's a septic there, I think, again, this is my opinion, is that we should have the Board of Health out there. We need to get some sort of record of what's there. And if it's really gonna create a conflict, maybe I can have my engineer take a look at it and say, okay, if we can relocate this or move the private, you know, the access road over 10 feet to avoid it, I think that's a better option than just saying, we don't, I'm kind of giving you more of the facts, and the septic system is really just hearsay. There's no, you know what I mean? We don't have any records of that.
Right, but there could be other utilities under the private way, and what if those get damaged? Who's responsible for fixing, repairing a conduit or an electrical utility?
What's under there?
If there was a electrical
Electrical's
utility.
above, water's well,
Right.
so there's nothing under there.
Right, but if it's damaged, if there's a utility damaged, who's responsible for repairing it?
Well, I
If it-
think,
if it feeds
I don't know,
to,
are we
you know-
talking about adequacy of the way or legal issues here? I mean, I don't know, Bill, I'm just, you know what I mean, I'm not trying to be, but I think those are things that, you know, when I go to do it, if there's an issue there, that's why we have business insurance. That's why those things are covered on other things. It has nothing to do with the adequacy of the way.
So who would be responsible if that septic system is damaged by
Well, we have
the
to
use
see,
of the way?
we have to see what's there. We're talking about a system that you don't know that's there.
Right.
You don't know
That's
what's
why I
there.
brought up-
It could be crushed right now.
Yeah,
It could be not even working.
right. Who would be, in general, responsible for any utility or system underneath the private way?
Well, it would come back to everybody has the interest in the way that abuts the way, so if her system's under the road, she, like I said, again, she has the right to keep it there, but at the end of the day, we have the right to pass and repass it. If, maybe if they showed us that the system's there, the planning board may grant a waiver that we don't do any cutting or filling near that septic and just leave it the way it is if it's already underground. That's another option.
Right, and I'm sure they're interested in the future damage to the septic system as well.
Yeah, but we need proof of the septic, Bill. We need the
Yeah.
proof of the septic, we need a
Right.
plan, we need a record, we need something to go off. We can't just keep
And
talking about a
then-
septic, we don't even know it's there.
And then you'll be responsible for the damage to it if we indeed, you know, find it and inspect it?
Well, you would have to inspect it before I touch it, make sure
Right.
that it's operating correctly to the standards it needs to.
Right.
And then if it gets damaged after the fact, well then, yeah, that's something that I would have to figure out. That's what business insurance is for.
Okay. All right, thank you for the overview. Let's open up the public
Can we ask
hearing.
questions first?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, just a few. So this property does not have frontage on Highland?
Does not have frontage
Not
on
at all.
Highlands.
Not written, I'm not saying written on your deed,
Right.
but is there two front accesses? Is there
There
frontage?
is another road, but the issue with the other road is it looks like that somebody on Highland actually built a house right in the middle of that other road too, so I don't know what builder would do that, but
So it does have frontage on Highland?
it does not have, it's not spelled out in the deed.
If I look
Yeah.
up on a map at the
Yeah.
block number, is it going to show a common line?
What do you mean by a common line? I'm not sure, because I really haven't dug into that, so I really don't want to talk about it.
So,
I haven't dug into
so there
that
could
issue.
be access on Highland, one.
Could I show you?
And then, let me have my second question,
Okay.
just
And then
quick.
we'll open it up to.
Yeah, then we open
like
it up,
the
so
public.
hold that before I'm gonna forget. It surprises me that in here, it states, when you do the road, your driveway, it would actually be as high as 4.5 feet based on the grading. Right of way, it could be within 1 to 4 feet, 1 to 5 feet from their building. If it's the grading. I don't feel comfortable having cars drive within 1 foot of my building, 1 to 5 feet. So maybe that can be addressed with something, whether it's,
No, that was the cutting and the grading, so if you look at the plan, and it's scaled with a ruler, you'll see that the private way there's an easement, and then there's the actual improved way. The actual improved way is only 12 feet, the easement's 25.
but
So-
our consulting engineer said he's concerned 1 foot within 5 feet of the building.
Within 5 feet of the building, no, there's a set of stairs that are in the front there. If you look at the plans, that's
Well,
why
I'm reading
your
what our
engineer should be
consulting
here to
engineer
explain this to you, because he's the one that made the comments.
Still proposed cuts of up to 1 foot within 5 feet of the building. And then I would like to see something in writing, which you said you already gave.
Everybody was here for the meeting when you guys had the council here, right?
Mhm.
The council here, so we will meet whatever we can meet, but the way, whatever we can't meet, we're able to ask for waivers for, because the lot is grandfathered. That was spelled out by the attorney when he was here, that represented you guys. Chris Alford. So he already went over all this, and it's really, even Graves had said, if you read the first sentence on the review, he doesn't even know why he's doing a review on this, because he wasn't really sure, understanding what it triggered. So we said, basically, we have to send you guys a plan to approve the adequacy of the way, so that for fire access or municipal vehicle, things of that nature. That's the jurisdiction of the board.
Okay. Any other comments? Anything else from the board members?
Is this still a new private way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now, no, so town has no,
Yep.
okay.
Let me just read into, for the public hearing. In accordance with sections 200-3.2, 207-1, 207-2 of the Charlton zoning bylaw, the Charlton Planning Board will hold a public hearing Wednesday, January 7, 2026, Planning Board Office, McKitt Street Building, 7 p.m., 37 Main Street in Charlton, on an application of Chris Hansen, 202 Berlin Road, Marlborough, Massachusetts, for site application for the use of private road to access a building lot where a new single-family home will be constructed. The property is shown on Beach Middle Road on plans Alpha Omega Engineering dated 11/21/2025. Property is at 0 Beach Middle Road. The property ID is Assessors Map 1A, Block F, Lot 1, Zoned Agricultural, R60. Copies of the plan are available on the board. Any person interested or wishing to be heard should appear at the time and place designated. All right, so let's open it up to, please. Public.
Hi, I'm Karen Fier.
Yeah, welcome back.
Here's the papers.
Here is the papers from Stevens and Sons septic system. They did the map, they drew everything out where my septic is. They're the ones that come and pump out my septic system. And that is their oh, you can pass it around. There's a couple
there-
of copies there.
Did they document any, to make any plans of this?
Yes, they did.
Yep.
They
And
did.
where are those?
Okay. They did a rough drawing for me because it was very, very cold.
Yeah,
But they did come out with the camera
yeah.
and took measurements. Hold this for me. but I also would like to address and show you where that other road is, that he can come up on Highland.
Highland, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have it for record.
In fact, you guys have the little map there.
Is it a map?
No, it's this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you can keep that.
Got it.
It's in pink because I can find it easy. This is the rough map that he drew for me.
Was
If
anybody
you
else?
need explanation, I can help you with
And it's
it.
still functional too.
This is the house, and this is where the road
Shit, I
wants to
don't know.
come through, is through here. This is my tank, and this is the driveway, and it comes across there,
And so where's the leach field?
right in here.
How many lines of leach field do you think you have?
We have one.
And how big is the tank?
I thought we wrote it down. They know how big it is.
Is it a cesspool or a septic?
It's a septic.
Yeah.
Who installed it? Any idea?
Right here. He can come
That's
right
right.
here.
This is the loan right here,
Yeah, and he can come right
and this
over
is the
here.
lot.
Yeah.
That's what it
And this,
Huh?
so,
Oh,
so
I
there's,
see.
so
So-
there's no reason why he should have to come this way.
Installed or?
Yeah, must.
Or was
What- what
it,
is
was
the-
it installed before the
So there's
zone?
one more.
Before it
There's
came
one
in?
It's
more.
woods.
Right.
This is
No
not,
problem.
Is this
Go
really
to
the only
Jack
thing,
buy one
this is
perforated
only
pipe, put
because
it in
we
the
have
ground.
been using it for
Seven,
over
one, two.
60 years.
in this part
years.
to
Up
here.
here,
That happens all
up
the
to
time.
here.
Yeah, we can
How many years ago, how many years
It's
ago, how
woods.
many?
This part is all open
Yeah.
because we've been using it as driveway and.
And it's still functional,
and this is
great,
your
you
house
know?
here.
Yeah.
No, right in here. This is-
Don't have no heavy equipment going
Wait a
over it,
minute, am
no.
I in the
No,
wrong area?
yeah.
I'm in the wrong area.
This is
I'm
you
sorry.
here,
This
right?
is me, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So it's woods up until
No, here,
here,
yes, I'm sorry.
from there to there. And what's here?
It's something like that, you can't relocate a
So
septic
this
system
is-
to the back of the house because it goes uphill.
So there is
And
no
something don't go uphill too
reason
much.
he can't come in here. He needs to prove that there's a house built on there. There
That's
is
why
a
they
house
invented the
built.
septic, the pumps.
Okay.
Don't have a rainfall pump, no.
This is what I'm nervous about.
Well, and plus, the road itself, according to his surveyor, is like right up on my front steps. And it's like less than a foot over towards this way.
Yeah.
This is, that's why I was confused as to where.
Well, that's the reason I wanted to show you, because he doesn't show you on here.
And that's you.
This is me.
Okay.
So this is obviously not drawn by the Board of Health. It's
No,
good
it is
information.
not. It is
I'm
not.
sure the
It's
septic
drawn by my
exists
septic
somewhere,
system.
yeah.
My
I just-
septic
I-
people.
yeah.
And they
Sorry.
did go out, as
Yeah.
you can see, they said they went out with a camera
Yeah.
and put the camera down through the pipe.
Right,
And I was there throughout the whole
Yeah.
thing.
So I have one thing I could add. If the pipe gets hit, and if it's one pipe, I think that's something that it wouldn't be too big of an issue to repair. If it's a full Title V septic system, that would be a little bit more, would want to mark that out, but I think that we need to understand that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
you have
just
to
say,
go through our
Go
chair.
ahead.
Okay,
Chairman,
okay.
Please.
go up there.
Okay, also, this has been abandoned property, and there is no easements. I'm referring to my lawyer's letter that he sent to you. He unfortunately wasn't able to make this meeting, but he did want me to point out a couple of items that is in his letter. So if you could follow along on paragraph 2, the sentence way down, probably about halfway down, it talks about the septic system, which is working because there was people living in the house. So it is working fully. And then also he talks about Beach Road in the 3rd paragraph, which is an unimproved way is only open because we've been using it. Nobody else has used it. We do not have to offer him an easement. It is not in the deed. This is all from my lawyer now, not from me, from my lawyer.
Why didn't your
And
lawyer?
if there's any, if you guys have any problems, you're more than welcome to call,
So
talk
that's-
with him.
That's not, so are you saying you have exclusive rights to that?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That would have been good information for them to put in this letter.
And it is.
I don't see it.
I don't see anything in there that has any legal references whatsoever. No legal reference.
I believe it's all on this, all written in there.
Yeah, it's in the,
That's the way I understood.
But it doesn't say specifically that it's not a public way, which,
It is not a public way.
Private way.
a private way, rather,
Yes.
so.
Right.
It doesn't provide
see
us with
that.
the deed from that parcel that I'm showing you on why we do not have interest in the way. And it doesn't specify any case law,
Right there.
doesn't specify anything
Never
legal.
Yeah,
used,
all-
right.
never
on there.
used. This long abandoned, unimprovement way runs through my property
Yeah.
and has not been used by anyone else,
That's
nor
why
are
it's,
they existing easement rights for travel.
it's a paper road. A paper
Yeah.
road means it's unimproved. That doesn't mean that others don't have rights in it. I think you're misunderstanding the legal points.
Who uses that road? Do you use it now?
It's the driveway.
It is the driveway, yeah.
Driveway and the septic system, and the
Right.
rest of the road is the yard that we use. But according to his survey, my whole front yard is gone,
yeah. They got the
according
stakes
to
up at
his
the door.
survey.
No, surveys
My
go,
whole front yard is gone.
surveys, I don't wanna waste everybody's time here, but surveys go by the deeds. They look up the deeds, they don't stamp it, I'm just telling you, it goes by legal references. They don't just make up surveys.
Anything else want to say?
Yeah, the claim that there are no other existing easement rights, I mean, then.
Which there is not, because I've gone over deeds. I've lived here all my life. I know this area by my heart.
Yeah. Right, right.
This house has been there forever.
I mean, it's simply a
Yeah.
matter of digging through the deeds and see if there's
Yeah.
easement. Have you found such easement?
I found it a long time ago where I have no, that's
Deed of
why
your property.
Chris Alphin was here.
Yeah.
When I presented all the information to the town planner, Randy, they sent it out to Silverstein and Alpine to take a look at the deeds. And what they did is they came back, he stood there and basically said that it's a grandfathered way, grandfathered lot that has rights to use that has the rights to use that, and he must submit, at the time, he said a subdivision plan, we had another meeting and lowered it down to a site plan, and then said the applicant may ask for any waivers if he cannot meet whatever standards are required by today to meet, so,
May I ask him to prove that in writing, please?
the town,
Yeah,
By an official, not by you. By an official.
yeah.
town council's already done it for you, haven't they? 'Cause we've already been down that road.
The town truck, this has already been discussed at town truck.
It's already reviewed this, this is.
They need to get a waiver from the plan, only the plan board can grant a waiver for anyone to use a private way, to improve a private way.
Correct, but as I understood it, he was basically saying that that is a grandfathered lot that has the rights to improve the way.
Yeah, they have the right to improve, they have deeded access.
We have deeded access, this isn't even, this site plan is not a vote, this is a deeded access, this is in the deed. If it's bounded and described, you hold interest, you can improve the way. What her lawyer would have to do now, since we've already talked to the town council, her lawyer would have to tell us why we don't have it.
No, you're the burden of proof, not me. I've been there for over 60 years.
I understand
You're
that.
a new person, you have the burden of proof, not me.
We already did
That
that,
came from my lawyer,
it's
not
already
from
been
me.
done.
Yeah, I think we've
Burden
already
of proof.
established that.
We've
Ben.
already established that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not even trying to create an issue here. It's already been
Then why
established.
don't you use Highland Road and end the problem?
It goes right up to the
Period.
lot, right up to the lot.
Right.
Period.
What about those
Why
abutters?
can't you use Highland Road?
What about the people that live there now? So
Well, then deal with them.
you're more important
They
than they
don't
are.
have a septic system
They don't
going
have
over
a
the
septic
road.
system. It's open halfway
Listen,
up.
I'm not gonna get into an argument here. So
Yeah,
she
this
just
is
needs to
really-
deal with her lawyer. I'm not gonna get into an argument. I know what my rights are.
Yep.
If-
Good,
if,
thank
you know?
Thank you. I understand, that may not happen, but we're just trying to get to whether the easement is in the deeds, and you've said that we have that, and the planning board is really to decide on allowing the improvement to the right-of-way. Randy, is that?
The adequacy.
Granting a waiver for Mr.
Right.
Hanson to improve the right of way to the house lot.
And so what we can say is that the easement for this private way is in fact in the deed of both properties. Right? That's the fact.
She has just as much interest in that way as I do. Anybody that has interested has the right to reasonably improve it to access their parcel. That's what it is.
Right.
Yes,
So
we-
it's on the
Why,
deed.
why are you so
Right.
much
Right.
wanting to use that instead of Highland?
Through the board,
Why?
through the chair of the board, I appreciate that. I appreciate your feedback. And I think what you've done is establish that there's definitely a septic system there. And what we've established is that there is a private way and he's entitled to use it. And so, are you, obviously. So both of you have interest in the private way.
Well, not according to my lawyer.
Yeah.
And he has to prove that he does it, not the town.
Yep, and
Him.
I think we've already done that. So I think we've already done that. Silverstein has made a judgment on that. That is up to him, and he did, in fact, prove that there is or interest in this right-of-way that he has for his property and for your property. You both have an interest in that
I'd like to
right-of-way.
see that in writing. I would like to see that on the
Yeah.
deed, that
Yep.
there is an easement to that road,
Right.
to that property.
Okay, thank you. So if there's an interest in this, Randy, we just have to, and Silverstein has documented this interest in this private way.
Okay, yeah, they have, the paperwork
Yep.
that I've received, I
Right.
forwarded everything to them, waiting for an answer. So,
We don't have a copy of the deed.
I don't,
we don't have a copy of the deed
I mean, it's
now.
public record, but yeah,
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
get lost in there.
I can email it all to you. And like I said, I know.
Yeah, and I'll forward
Right.
to
yeah.
Jonathan Silverstein.
Yeah. And if that's the case, which I believe it probably is, then it's really a matter for the board to consider the improvement of the private way according to the plans as submitted to us on the application. So let's, any other comments from the
Yes.
public?
Does anybody, do you all know where the other road that he can use is?
Right.
Because
Any-
it's not listed on his plan,
Right.
the other road that
Okay.
he could use.
Right.
I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that you all are aware of that.
Right, yet we have seen the other plan, previous, has been in front of the board a couple of times. Yeah.
Okay, because I haven't been notified, except for this one.
Mhm.
So if this is going to be continued, my lawyer would ask for a date
Mhm.
so he can be here next time with me.
Gotcha. Yep. Thank you. Any other comments? Please.
I just wanted to mention that Middle Road is a road
Mhm.
that goes alongside of it, if I'm understanding where Zero Beach Road is.
Mhm.
And yes, you want to do that because they took away Beach Road, which was our only access to the back of our property, because we weren't notified and didn't come for a meeting a number of years ago. But if I'm looking at the GIS map, if this is Zero Middle Road, I was told when they told me that they took Beach Road away, is an actual road. It just needs the trees taken down. It's not a way or anything like that. It is an actual road in the town's plans.
Chair, is it
No,
a private road or
well,
a
like,
public
it's the
road?
same as Highland Road. Yeah.
Being an actual road, is it a public road or?
No, it's all
road?
private over there.
It's all private, but it's the same as
So
Highland Road, but it's.
It may be an actual road, but it's not a town improved road, so.
It's on paper.
Yeah.
Never been
Yeah,
constructed.
Yeah, this one's
It
not.
doesn't-
The town does
It's
not
on
recognize
paper.
our roads as town roads.
All right, why don't we close public hearing, deliberate on this, and next meeting, we can present our findings and conclude on
Okay,
this.
so what would you need from me, just so you need the deed from me?
That would
Okay,
certainly
so
help.
I'll send over the
And we'll
deed that
forward to
references
our
that.
council.
Both deeds would be great,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And then if we could just get our hands back on the Silverstein, what was their findings on this?
yeah, no problem.
So let's-
Did he already look at this though? Didn't he? 'Cause
I
That's why
don't
Alpha was
believe
here.
that We've got a copy of the deed.
Okay, but I'll
That's
get
the
the,
one, yeah, he has all the other paperwork, but I don't know about the copy of the
no
deed.
problem, I'll get you the copy of the deed tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for your
So,
feedback.
so could
Appreciate
I
it.
have a date for a rehearing?
Yep, we will. So do we need to close public
Actually,
Next
Public
public
hearing.
hearing,
point of
our
order though,
next
if
meeting
you
is
close it,
January 23rd.
if you close it, will she be able, Ms. Fierro be able to bring her attorney and have
Well,
that
Yes.
information?
Yeah, I guess
I think we
we continue
continue
the
it.
We have to
application.
continue and not
Yeah.
close it? Okay.
motion to continue for the 21st, is that right?
Could I have a little bit longer since
Oh,
he's,
let me make.
21, yep.
the 21st?
Yeah, will be the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, and who is this Silverstein now?
Attorney for the applicant?
No, he's,
Town.
no, sorry, attorney for the town.
attorney.
Yeah.
Who's your attorney?
I wish he was my attorney, but he's a hefty dollar. Look at your deed, they wanna charge you $1,000.
And your main concern right now is easement of the right-of-way? Is that what you're concerned about?
No.
Rights to improve the right-of-way,
Deed.
Yeah.
Deeds.
It's improvement of the right of way and
legal standing.
just confirm that the private way is listed on the deeds of your property.
It's not.
Right.
It's not on the deeds. I can tell you
Yeah,
that.
that's what we're looking for.
I almost
Okay.
can tell you exactly what's on everybody's
Yep.
deed.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you. Motion to continue?
Second, I make motion to continue.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
So we'll continue this until our January 21st is our next meeting.
My lawyer will be present,
Whoever you would like to invite. We'd love to have.
my lawyer,
Thank
because he's the one who wrote the letter.
you. Yeah,
It's, my words are from him.
got it. Thank you.
Okay?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay, of course.
No, I don't want to.
Sure, all right.
I don't blame you.
All right.
But thanks for the offer.
You
I
bet.
appreciate
You
it.
bet. Thank you for coming out tonight. Drive safely.
Another crazy set.
Huh?
Another crazy set. Another complicated one.
All right, next on our agenda is. Next on the agenda, public hearing for Bressett, a reduced frontage lot special permit, 30 Hill Road. Yes. How you doing? Good. Welcome.
I'm Steve Brissette. I'm one of the owners of the property. It's my son Matthew.
Yeah.
What we're interested in doing is getting a special permit for a reduced frontage lot on a property that we own on Hill Road. We bought the property with the intention of just using it for recreation and whatnot. However, family change, things change, and Matt wishes to build a house out there. I submitted plans. We actually came here before just to talk about this
Yeah.
whole submittal process.
I remember.
And at that time, we had presented the original plan from 2010 that actually created the parcel itself, which again, I have a copy of that. And it was a plan of 3 lots, with 4 lots, excuse me, with a remaining parcel. And we ended up buying the remaining parcel. Since that time, we have actually completed another retracement survey of the actual boundary of the property. Because when we were doing the title work when we bought it, we came up with a few discrepancies in the boundary line, mainly with the golf course over here. This plan that Para did was based on a plan that Win Fox had done years ago in the 70s when Lane went bankrupt. And I don't know what they did, but they drew a straight line from here to here, and that's not how the line actually is.
Yep.
So we had gone through the records. We ended up having to go to a probate case in 1862
Yeah.
to actually come up with a description that matched the abutting deed for our property as well. To be considered as a reduced frontage lot, we need to have a minimum of 50 feet of frontage. We need to have a minimum of 5 acres. The access strip cannot be any longer than 600 feet, and the house has to be at least 200 feet setback. Our proposal, we have over 60 feet of frontage.
Mm-hmm.
The strip is only 275 feet deep.
Yep.
We have 24 acres,
Mm-hmm.
and the house is about 350 feet back off the road. We have permits for the septic, permits for the well.
Mm-hmm.
We got conservation approval for the septic, the well, to build a barn, install the driveway, install the utilities. I have an order of conditions of a negative determination from them. I also have a driveway permit. Actually, the base of the driveway was constructed last fall.
Mm-hmm.
There's about 400 feet of the driveway's been installed already. I'm dealing with Mass Electric, National Grid right now on the power line. I actually met with them earlier in December. They expect to have a plan to me of a proposal. It looks like they're gonna put 1 pole, they're gonna petition the town to add a pole on Hill Road, and then they're gonna put 1 back on my property, and then we're gonna go underground from that one.
Up the strip.
Yeah, up the strip. Yeah, they're gonna go up
Halfway
the strip.
or something.
They're gonna stay on the eastern side of our driveway.
Yeah.
To stay away from the neighbor's boundary. That's why they want to put in a new pole for that, and then they're gonna go to basically where it turns to the west.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll go underground from there, we'll get to the build site. I have all those permits in hand, if anybody's interested in taking a look at them.
Excellent, thanks for bringing those, appreciate the work. So conservation's good. What's on the, remind me, what's on the property now?
Nothing, we had it logged, we have a Shelter Logic up there right now, just for some temporary
Yeah.
storage while we've been out there working. Other than that, there is nothing on site other than the driveway.
And you're okay with no further divisions to the property in
Yeah,
the
that's-
future?
Yeah, that's fine, I mean, with the wetland issues, there's not really a lot we can do with it.
Yeah,
We still plan on managing it in forestry and some agriculture. The only difference is we're adding my son's house in there instead of our barn at the moment.
yeah. Great, okay. Thank you. Well laid out, I appreciate the well-documented plans and all your preparation for the other permits. Any questions from the board?
Deed. There's a good deed.
even the deed.
The deed, yeah, and it looks like it meets 2/3 uplands, right? 'Cause you're staying clear. Right, 2/3 uplands act.
Yep.
Meets that,
Yes.
Yeah.
and it's conservation.
Excellent. Looks good. Any other comments? Any questions? Entertain a motion?
Oh, and then public
Oh, I'm
comment.
sorry. Your butters, I apologize.
Hi, are you good?
Please, open the public.
Justin Raymond, 34 Hill Road.
Yeah.
Direct abutter.
Yeah.
I'm not as,
You're in the
I'm
middle.
new to this, so forgive me if I don't know all the technical terms.
You're in the middle here.
I'm right in the middle.
Gotcha. Please.
And as much as I understand me wanting to live in the area, it is a beautiful spot, and I can understand why they would want to be down Hill Road, it is quiet. My issue that maybe my misunderstanding is the 200-foot setback. Is that from the road or from the property line? Because I have pictures showing that this house is 50 feet off the property line, directly on top of my backyard and my neighbors.
Well, I mean, whatever it has to be, it will have to be.
I thought that the 5-acre rule was so you could put the house far enough away,
Yeah.
so you're not disturbing the neighbors. That's why we allow the limited frontage.
So the building setback,
Yeah. From the property line is 50 feet off of my existing lot line.
Yeah, I asked Kurt about that already. I submitted the thing to Kurt. I have an email from Kurt. Says the review of the submitted plan looks to be in compliance with the zoning, excuse me, for a reduced frontage lot. You have more than 50 feet of frontage, 5 acres, and the proposed house is set back more than 200 feet from the road. The house additionally is set back sufficiently from rear property line for the homes on Major Hill Road.
right,
Because we're 60 feet off the line. So, yeah, the 200 feet is from the road.
The bylaw doesn't state from the road. It says 200 feet
from the
from
boundary.
from the boundary.
Yep.
No, it's just
That would be our back lot line.
Well, Kurt's the zoning enforcement officer, and that's
Hmm.
what he wrote back to me.
yeah.
The zoning enforcement officer will have to improve the house we're facing, so.
Yeah, it is boundary, isn't it?
What's that?
Boundary, right?
Boundary,
Yeah.
When we normally look at,
the site. Yeah.
If it
The
would
lot
help, I have
lines.
some pictures
Yeah.
of the lot before.
We're gonna improve the site, the house location, we're just improving the law. The zoning official will do
That's
the
true.
work.
but we can't,
Yeah.
unless, if it's not
Well, yeah,
possible to
Yeah.
build on it, we can't
Right.
approve it though, that's the problem, right? We can't
Right.
make it
Well, that-
buildable a lot if they can't, if they, like, technically can't build on it though.
But-
If they don't have the
Can't
setback.
approve the A
if
and
you
R.
can't meet it in front of that, they might have to get a wetlands, is in the rear of the lot, there's another area that's, not
Existing before it
wetlands
was
and
cut.
everything, but they have to
And
do a
then there's pictures
wetlands stuff
after it was
to
cut, you
get
can
there.
actually see the stakes
So-
of the building.
Because then they're gonna have to move wetlands to make it work, or
They would have to go through the conservation
cutting it
commission
was
to
part of
process wetlands.
in conservation only reviewed it
So it's
for,
back here.
That's before it was cut.
Before.
That is now winter
this is
time.
conservation review,
I'm sorry.
conservation
Yeah,
review is
well,
okay.
they weren't worried about the zoning part of it either.
When
So
you-
conservation didn't look at zoning either, so we'll be,
Actually,
we'll
if you look
be,
at it, you can
we-
see-
You can see Kurt's picture.
so would we be improving a lot that would be impossible to ever build on? And
Right.
that's the
No,
question.
they could get a permit to cross the wetland from the conservation.
That would be my question, is if you can do that, no argument with that.
Excuse me,
It would
the
be up to
bylaw
the-
does say 200 feet from the boundary. It does not say from the road.
It does, 'cause I
No, it
just-
says the house has to be set back 200 feet.
Yeah,
Right.
if they want
It
to
says
change
from the
some
boundary.
condition, they could apply for a variance to the DVA.
As long as
The
your
butters would
sidelines
be
and setbacks are
notified.
fine. Yep. Yeah. What's the setback, 19 feet sides?
I'd like to see them too.
And all I had too in was pictures. I tried to maintain a wooded buffer between all my abutters, except they had already encroached over the road. They had cut down the trees in their backyard that were
Yeah.
actually my trees. that if they hadn't cut them, there would be a 25-foot buffer there. So
So this was before, this was existing, when this lot, our lot was logged years ago by Dan Prouty, the previous owner, and there was a roadway through an opening, so when they cleared their lot, there was some open spots over the boundary. And Mr. Bissett is right, we did go over, since we moved everything that he's asked, it's not an issue. I apologize for going over when it's just an open spot. We didn't even know, according to me, up until we started getting letters, I assumed that Dan Prouty still owned the lot. I did not know that the lot was still for sale, if it was for sale. I figured everyone gave up on it, there was no signs on it, because the lot is really not anything that anyone, in my mind, would want to build on, because you're right on top of everybody. I moved out here because I wanted privacy. It's a small town, I come from a small town, and I thought that this is what these laws get put in for, is so that people aren't on top of it.
So what are we looking at?
So this is before they cut. This was during the cutting. And this is now, that's where the house is gonna go. That's my back line, right above there. And the house is right off of it.
200 feet from
60 feet off it.
Is that?
200 feet from the boundary
Like,
of lot
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, have we established that, whether it's boundary?
yeah, I mean, so the property owner has two options if you can't meet the zoning regulations. You go to the Conservation Commission for a wetland crossing, or you go to the zoning board of appeals
And get a waiver
to
on that
request
200.
to be less than 200 feet. That's all we're doing is approving the lot, but if they want to build a house there or some other structures, that'll be up to the zoning officer. They'll have to present to the zoning officer that they meet the 200-foot setback, and if they can't, then he won't approve conduct.
If it's all right, I'd like to continue this, just clear this up with
Oh, that's fine.
with Mr. Meskis, just get a ruling on this. We certainly don't want to do anything that would disqualify a good set of plans.
And we're
here.
at 32 Hill Road, and
Please.
so his driveway is right along our property line, and we can
Right.
confirm that, Steve, you have been thorough with us from the beginning, showing us our plans and very gracious and trying to disturb us as little as possible. But like Mr. Raymond here said, it is basically in our backyards and basically in our side yards. So if they could get approval to cross the brook and build the house further back, again, whether it's from the boundary, which, you know, the bylaw seems to say, or from the street, the
Yeah.
spirit of the law is that you're not going to have somebody in your backyard. And when we also purchased the lot, we had that similar impression, like, it's the marshlands, it's really mosquito-y. We also thought nobody's gonna wanna build there, and we thought we would find out ahead of time and somebody if it was for sale. But like, he's been wonderful, and so we have no doubt if his son were to live there, he would be a great neighbor too. We would just much prefer that it be further back, where everybody can have their privacy, and I'm sure he wants more privacy too.
If conservation would allow it, we'd do
Yeah.
something different, but
Yeah.
between riverfront
Yeah.
and everything,
Well, that,
It's a very
that
tight
brings up
area.
another thing. They do cross rivers. There's many houses that we know in town that have been crossed. It is possible.
It can be done.
It can
And
be
it's
done.
very expensive to
It is, but that comes
to
with,
replicate wetlands.
it comes with the,
But
I mean, the brook isn't all that wide, and so if they get permission to build a bridge over that brook and access the back area of their lot that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I know
usually
it's not that easy.
they don't
Trust me,
like a
it's
lot of,
technically drilling. I know it's not that easy, but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it can be done.
yeah, they don't
That's-
like a lot of construction in the buffer over the wetlands, but yeah.
Well, we've already.
Yeah, we've seen his poles
They've
with the
already
blue.
crossed the river once to go log out in the back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is possible to cross it.
Have you had a wetlands determination done in the
Yes.
survey? Yeah.
My only other question would be is to put a stipulation, if it does get approved, that they provide some sort of buffer in the, say, like 8-foot arborvitae's
Yeah,
along the line, to
landscape
give us
buffer,
that privacy
right,
back,
yeah, yeah.
along the
Yep.
property line.
Right. Yeah, I think, exactly, that's a great great idea. Let's get a determination on the setbacks, just to make sure. I think also just to comment on, you know, a house with this amount of setback and a reduced frontage is also, the spirit is to just have more buildable lots. And so the other house is probably right next to you, or even, you know, closer maybe than the Brissettes are. It may be in back of you, but a whole neighborhood, if there was a road back there, there could be
But that would be
houses.
understandable. If I bought a house with another road behind it,
Yeah.
we backed up, we bought a house with
Right.
nothing, we bought it with wetlands behind us.
Yeah.
Figuring that no
Right.
one would want to go back there.
Right, exactly. All right, thank you. Let's, we'll keep the public hearing open and just continue this then till January 21st meeting. Thank you. Thank you for your opinions and feedback. Appreciate it. Motion, please?
I make a motion that we continue this to January 21st, 2026.
A second?
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out. Check for the setback from Curtis.
Yeah, I made notes myself.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Petro. We have our next public hearing is GM Properties, also known as The Villages, multifamily units at 35 North Main Street. This is a continuation.
We all set, Mr. Chair?
Please.
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome.
So, it's been a while. Just for the record, as a reminder, my name is Joshua Lee Smith. I am the outside counsel for the applicant. And as you had mentioned, we've got our civil engineer here this evening, James. And we have the honor of the presence of the principal of GM Properties, George Markopoulos, here as well. So, as I said, it's been a while. That is in part because your very skillful peer reviewer has been going through the project. There's also, we had some homework to do the last time that we met. There were some comments from the board that we had to incorporate into the plan designs.
Yeah. Since it's an open meeting, we really should. Sorry.
So we've made a number of changes, and we're not going to represent the whole project. We do want to highlight some of the changes since it's been quite some time. So right off the bat, with respect to the density was sort of an ongoing theme issue with the members. So we've been to you a few times, contracting the project more and more in different ways. You know, we started off with 50 units over a year ago. It went down to 40, down to 36. We are currently at 33 units. And that is in large part based on the last meeting that we've had. So we're down to 33 units. On the northerly side, again, just to give your bearings, Olga Lane is in the upper part, northerly part of the site. There's 10 units in that upper portion. And then on the southerly portion, there are 23 units along what we're calling now Drive A. In addition to that, there were some comments with respect to the drive width. Now, when I say drive, I mean the driveways, I mean the actual roadways. There was some talk at one point of making one of these a one-way. The board, I think your own fire department had thought that might be a good compromise. The members took issue with that, so we ended up widening the driveway. So we've widened it now today. I think currently it sits at about 22 feet, I believe, and it is two-way. In terms of the individual driveways. With respect to each one of these townhouse units, there was also some concern with respect to the length of those, of each of those individual driveways. So we've accommodated that in order to, I think some of the comments were, well, if you got an SUV or a truck, a lot of people in Charlton have trucks. So we've accommodated that. So individual driveway length. In terms of the individual driveways as well, there was discussion, and this ties to the parking. So we double wide driveways for a number of these units. Again, in order to accommodate some of the concern that the members had with respect to the idea of tandem parking within some of these townhouse units. We understand what the concern was, so in essence, jumping a little forward to the parking, we've got, I think the ratio is over 3 to 1. There's a extreme number of parking at this point with respect to the site. That was another underlying theme that a lot of the members had. Not enough parking, based on, in large part, because we have garage spaces, which technically, according to the building commissioner, those are legal spaces. We understood the tandem component to it. So we added a number of spaces. There are spaces both within the garage, there are spaces in the driveway, each one of these individual driveways. And then, as you may recall, there's a number of areas, convenient, remote, or satellite parking spaces, surface spaces as well, that can accommodate either occupants of the project and or visitors to the site. So there, we started with 50 parking spaces when we filed this application. We've increased that pretty significantly to 99. So we have 99 parking spaces. Again, just in terms of the ratio, we've got 99 parking spaces for 33 units. So parking was a concern. I think we more than addressed that issue. There was another issue concerning a little bit of the site distance, sight lines in terms of the approach to the development. So as you may recall, we do have a traffic study. There's a traffic engineer that performed an initial study, and then there was a slight modification in order to accommodate this request to alter Drive A. So as you may recall, Drive A, as James is pointing there, now all of the entry points are along North Main Street. With respect to the units along Drive A. Before, Drive A sort of intersected more into that kind of three-way intersection area. There were some concerns with respect to the approach, sight lines, etc. And we've updated the traffic study to analyze that. Your peer reviewer also took a look at the traffic study and the modification to the entry point there. Said that everything is perfectly safe in terms of the entry, ingress, egress, as well as the sight lines. So I'm going to stop there. As I said, there is a number of comments that were set forth in the peer review memo. We whittled those down to, I think there's 3 outstanding items. I would consider them, I won't say de minimis, but they're pretty minor. And I feel one of them even, the peer reviewer said that it could be conditionally approved. Subject to that comment. With that, I'm gonna pass it over to James.
Thank you, Josh. I just want to point out one other thing that was part of the major changes that were made in response to the last time we were in front of the board and the discussion then, which is that the board expressed a reluctance to approve the drives as they had been shown because there were not sidewalks. And so what we show now is on Drive A has a sidewalk all the way along the, I'll get the directions right, it's the west side, of the drive, which is the side of most all the units except for these first few at the north end here. But there's a 4-foot driveway all along this side.
4-foot sidewalk.
Oh, it should be sidewalk, I'm sorry. Thank you for the correction. Because I was thinking already of the next thing I was going to say, which was that it was located such that, as Josh mentioned, there was discussion earlier of wanting to see at least 21 feet of space between garage and curb. In this case, now it's 21 feet between garage and walk. and then there's the 4-foot walk, and then there's where we're showing it essentially 1 foot is the Cape Cod berm beyond that. So if I pick one of these out with 21 feet, unit 13 here, you have 21 feet, then you have a 4-foot wide walk, 25, then you have essentially 1 foot depth to get through the curb, so you actually have 26 feet in that case from the unit to the curb, but again, 21 feet driveway space as requested, the 4-foot walk. And now on Olga Lane, you also again have a 4-foot walk. What we did was we put it on the same side as these units. We have a crossing, and then we have the same on the same side as the units furthest north on Olga Lane. So on both drives, we have a walk. This was again reviewed now by the peer reviewer. He had a couple sort of clarifications he was looking at before. We were showing it as just one line, and I told him, I said, look, we're showing it as line, but it's got the 4 feet width. He said, show it as 2 lines to reflect the depth of the curb, and then that there's 4 feet beyond that. So if anybody actually puts a scale to the plan, it will correctly reflect the depth of the walk.
Right.
So we made that little change as he requested. But that was, again, what I inferred from the sentiment expressed by the board at that last time we were in front of you, that there was a big concern in regard to safety and the appropriateness of the drive, that we have a sidewalk there. And as I say, the only units that don't have a sidewalk right in front of them are these units here. The others, sidewalk in front of them, sidewalk in front of them, sidewalk in front of them. I just want to point out also what we did with the space that we had, again, as Josh says, we had 36 units on the previous iteration of the plans that we were in front of you with. We took units out in this area over here on the, let me get the directions right, the east side of Drive A. And what we have there instead now are a dog park area and an area to be paved stone surface and a grill. So we added those, we took out 3 units, added those amenities on that side. And as Josh says, there are, just a little more specifics, there are 10 units of the 33 that actually have a full 2 cars width of parking in front of them. So those units effectively have 3 spaces of their own. As he says, the total provided on site is 99 spaces, again, for 33 units. Very quick math, it's easy, 3 spaces per unit. And that's, again, I believe we're exceeding the town standard, and as the traffic engineer said in his report that the peer reviewer reviewed, that it exceeds, pretty easily the general national standards for such units.
Good.
Which is necessary in downtown in Charlton, because every single issue is a parking issue in our downtown. I'm on the Recreation Commission, and 90% of the problems we have is about parking. It's always a huge issue, especially if anything's happening. So I know you think we're being picky, but we're being honest when it comes to our town. It's just reality here.
And I just wanted to, while we got these boards with you, I believe these were passed on to the applicant. Had these renderings done to give you an idea of the future look of the site. This is a view from looking, perhaps you'd be in the air. Oops, roll that one. Somewhere's over here where I've got my left hand. You're looking sort of southward, and you're maybe just on the other side of North Main Street. This would be Drive A. Here's Olga Lane. Again, the units at the beginning and toward the end of that. The block of units 1 through 5 near the north end of Drive A, and here are the others. And I think there are a couple other nice renderings that were submitted. This is the view from on the other side of Drive A. These are the units that have on North Main Street is on the other side of these units. You're looking at the back of the units with the access drive here, some parking spaces as we showed, both on each side. But this is looking at the back of the units where, again, North Main Street is on the other side. And
That's the North Main.
Is that the front, what they look like?
Yeah.
That's the front, yeah,
Yep,
correct.
these are
I
the- these
mean,
are-
obviously not the
yeah.
grass.
This is on the other side of North Main Street, maybe you're standing, not that there's so much grass
Is this
there
Village
next
District
to
zoning?
H. Putnam, but
So we don't want to have like ugly apartments like that, so
No.
we have a little more say on what they actually look like. Are they're ugly, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. We have the one thing we do have a lot of say in is what these things look like also, because it's the Village District, it's in the bylaws, you see, these are really kind of ugly. They're just,
I'll let her finish.
Okay.
sorry, I
No, we're not
had
to the
this.
public.
Yeah, we'll open it up.
I know by now.
sure.
We'll have to talk about that later, but I'm just thinking.
So just in summation, I would say, I think we've addressed the major points that the board expressed and that the peer reviewer expressed, that we're giving reservations about the proposed development, especially not liking the access or drive A off of L. Stevens, not liking not having a sidewalk, and maybe wanting some reduction of density and provision of amenity, and I think we've done all of those things. And I'll leave it open to the board, and if you want to have a discussion of style, and we can certainly go into that.
I think one of the other comments I think that you might have I didn't hear was an update on, you know, the wetlands, the amount of footprint here. The site has a tremendous amount of wetlands, and we're still operating with an assumption that within the 100-foot buffer, you know, basically all the construction is happening within the 100-foot buffer, and probably at least 50% of the units are within the 50-foot buffer of the wetland, which is usually a non-starter, so.
Did conservation,
For conservation.
conservation look at this at all yet?
I did speak to the conservation director. I believe he's going to the conservation commission next week.
We
So
just,
they don't have a final.
Right.
They'll have
They
a
don't have
final
we filed a
conservation.
notice of intent with the Conservation Commission with the plan a couple iterations back.
Yeah.
We discussed with them the wetland boundary. Actually, that issue is resolved. The wetland boundary shown on here and on the plans you've received is the valid wetland boundary.
Yeah.
And we, because at that time there was, I'd say it was more of a determining factor of project success, how things were received by the planning board. We've been continuing with them to try and resolve these issues with you folks. But as you notice, if you looked at some of the peer reviewers' comments, several of them really were sort of Conservation Commission issues in regard to operation and maintenance plan and removal of total suspended solids and phosphorus in runoff.
Right.
So I would say that, yes, the Conservation Commission has not signed off. They have reviewed this, but review is still ongoing.
Yeah, I think I mean, I just have a little bit of a challenge with, for example, the amount of unoccupied space. You really can't count the wetlands as that, because you can't do any landscaping in the wetlands territory. So that is typically not allowed as unoccupied space, and one of the zoning bylaws, which I'm sure you know, is with multifamily, you need to allow for at least 50% unoccupied space in the total lot. And I think you're very close with that. So I think the wetlands, and then we have to calculate, you know, the building coverage is one thing, but then you also have to calculate what's the parking coverage and, you know. and
Sure,
some
I would
other
just note that the
coverage.
building coverage of the proposed project is only 7%, where the village.
Yeah, but it's 7% of the total area,
Allows
which
60.
isn't really.
7% where 60 is allowed. Even if you took out this wetland entirely and said this wetland, that land doesn't exist, we would still be well under.
Yeah, I think you're at about 25 to 30% coverage with the building and improvements in the lot. It's not even close to 8%, James. because you have to reduce the total area by the wetlands that are there and use that as a denominator, because those can never be landscaped even. So it's not only that they can't be occupied, but you cannot have active land, you can't go in there and landscape wetlands area. And that's just direct wetlands area. Forget about the 50-foot and the 100-foot buffer areas. Those usually are, maybe there's considerations for a single-family house if they want to add a garage and it's encroaching into a buffer, but certainly not for 30-plus units of a multifamily dwelling would we allow any encroachment into the buffer areas, especially not into the 50, probably not even into the 100. The 100 is usually reserved for just landscaping driveways.
You seem to be speaking as though you're the Conservation Commission, though.
Yeah, well,
I don't understand.
we're certainly going to talk to the Conservation Committee, but the spirit of the Village District is, first of all, mixed use. There's no mixed use in this. And there's a lot of wetlands for this particular property. So yeah, I'd be interested to hear what the Conservation Committee would have to say for this. I certainly wouldn't, and I'm sure you're interested in what the members have to say in the planning board about the encroachment into the wetlands buffer. Any other comments from the board?
I have a comment. I'm pleased to see you increase the parking to 99. Does that include the 33 inside a garage?
Correct.
It does, okay. And then I know Dawn had a question on trash receptacles. So now that you've added some parking spaces, that should help with where the person's dumpsters are going. It's being that it's tight. Dawn had asked about that and he's not here, so I just wanted to.
I would just note that all of these driveways are at least 14 feet wide, and again, the average parking space is considered to be typically 9 feet wide. So even if you said, okay, you're parking your car, you've got 4 feet, you've got 5 extra feet within which to roll the trash receptacle.
Okay. And then my last question, I'm trying to figure out what's the square footage of each unit? Is this
Sure.
the basement level 882, the ground floor?
It's 1,200 of livable.
600 footprint.
But on a couple stories, it's 1,200 square feet.
The 800 is a topographical.
Oh, I see. But it's 2 stories, so it's what, 1,600
No,
above?
2 stories, it's 600 each floor, so 1,200 in
1,200?
totality, yeah, with a garage under.
Okay, I don't see anywhere here, I know on your first plan, you had some 3 bedrooms mixed in. You removed all the 3, so these are
Correct.
only 2 bedrooms?
Correct, all the same footprint.
All 2 bedrooms? And then I've asked this a couple of times, have you been before town sewer?
Yeah, our application is actually now being reviewed by, I forget how it was termed, the outside reviewer or
Peer review?
Because I've been watching the meetings and I haven't seen you on any agenda, so I'm like, they gotta get in there. Okay. I will check
We
with
actually
them.
spoke to Cheryl this morning to talk about that and said, where are we on this? And she asked for us to send another document, did that, and she said, and I said I would call her later today, and she said, well, I'm gonna be a meeting, but she said, I can tell you it's under review now by the, I paraphrase that, it's something that amounts to the outside reviewer. I
Okay.
forget how she
I thought
exactly said.
that there was no room left on the sewer at all in this town.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was at
Interesting.
some
Oh,
meeting.
you know it.
They're very close.
Yeah, I thought that.
There's
there was-
sufficient room to go in, but the processing and all, they're at max what's going into Katy Brook. So they've put a hold on any big projects, so
Moratorium.
that's why. The moratorium ended actually, so it's, did it?
I
Well,
don't think
they're,
so.
Because of the time limit that they put
Yeah.
on it, right?
yeah, because,
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll all
so
be interested to hear what they say.
I
Yeah,
just
that's
was
interesting.
curious, because
Just
obviously
another challenge
you're not
to
gonna
go.
fit a septic, so I didn't want to just do all this work for nothing.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Thank
I-
you, Lori.
Now, you have room for parking 2 cars outside of each house?
No, there are 10 units that have a 20-foot wide or more driveway. I'll just run through them quick. Numbers 1, 5, 6, 11, 12, if I get this right, 17, 18, 23, 28 and 33. It's basically end units where the driveway can easily be stretched out a couple feet, for instance, here and here and here, that we show those as 20-foot wide driveways, thereby sufficient for 2 cars to park in front. And again, 10 of those.
Okay. Now, that, we discussed, I thought, about, we didn't count in garage parking as a parking spot, right?
Yeah, and the, Mr. Tetra's very creative, and we have squeezed a lot of parking out of this. So it does technically meet the parking requirements of the zone. It's not a great precedent to have parking in the garage, for sure, Bob, I agree
Yeah,
with you.
okay, no, I'm not, I know, because just not trying to pick it apart, but say,
Right,
we
yeah.
did discuss it the last time, that's,
Absolutely.
not trying to talk
No,
it
no,
down.
and that's why we, starting at that or one of the previous discussions, we made a point of creating a certain number of the units as having 2 spaces devoted just to that unit immediately outside of that garage door.
Definitely much improved.
Yeah,
compared
it
to
has.
I mean,
Yes, it is,
huge,
it is,
huge
it is,
improvement.
it's greatly improved, but
Yeah, the idea
Yeah.
is so somebody to pull the car out of the way, park it on the side of the road or something. so the
well, that's
car
what we're
can get
worried,
out
concerned
right.
about, the parking on the
Just
street,
trying to
yeah.
prevent that from happening.
Your engineer's done a great job. He's very creative. He has been very responsive to a lot of the things that we've requested.
You'll get your check.
Right. And I appreciate you moving the entrance, in fact, down to North Main, off of the dangerous intersection. That's a great improvement. I think there's a lot of other areas still that the no central trash dumpsters and having each unit have 2 rollouts is pushing it a little bit. I think it might come into safety, just having these dumpsters rolling around on a day where we're trying to, I guess you're gonna be responsible for snow plowing, you know, how is that happening? That's not good. I still haven't heard anything about centralized post office boxes with cover because it's New England. That would be a great feature to have.
I didn't actually mention that. We actually show proposed mailbox center here off of these parking spaces with the intention that the location is such that if most of the traffic or more of the traffic is coming back home, perhaps this way, they can come in, park, pick up their mail and go on to wherever they're going. It seemed like a good
Excellent.
spot
Good.
for that.
Yep. Parking to get into the mailboxes too, so as not to shut down the entire drive would be great, yeah, so that's fantastic to have that.
I
There,
also see a planting plan in the back, which we did ask for, and it's here. I'll let
Yeah.
the abutters look at it as well.
so, I mean, there's some major topographical changes required to fit this in. You know, there's quite a bit of slope going on, and the retaining walls and the tops and bottoms of the retaining walls show, you know, the findings are that they're from 7 to 20 feet of retaining wall height in some places. So, and again, this is in the 100-foot buffer, which you're really trying to leave the buffer zone as you found it and not to have major disturbances in the buffer. So 7 to 20 foot, you know, retaining walls is pretty significant, I think, in some of those areas.
And conservation will be all over that.
Yeah. In fact, the landscape buffer zone, I think I was looking at some of the regs on this. I'm not sure the landscape buffer zone on Olga Drive is met due to the wetlands and the setback from the property. This is covered under 205.17 A1. It talks about the number of feet to the buffer. There's also.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, what section again?
I think that's 200-5.17. And a particular bullet A1, I believe. Thank you for asking, Mr. Smith. And then there's also some front setback landscaping buffer or something, and that's in that same 205.17 C2 bullet. I think there's a parking buffer to buffer the parking areas from side streets or something like that, and I'm not sure if that was covered, so I pointed that out. I don't think the parking is, that coverage isn't met. So it's 5.17 A1, B1, and C2 talk about the landscape buffering. And then with Mr. Tetro, the sidewalks, so on L. Stevens Road, does that sidewalk still exist?
Yes.
That all the way down?
Actually, I didn't go into that, but
Yeah.
that was what you see colored on here. This gray is the proposed sidewalk at the edge of the existing traveled way. Just this morning, we had a comment from Mr. Meskis in regard to, I'm trying to find it, existing hydrant right here.
Right.
And saying, you know, even if you can get behind it, they'd rather have it moved back behind the sidewalk, because right now it's actually pretty close to the edge of the traveled way. And they already have there's already trouble with the hydrant up here by the corner with people occasionally digging it. That one is kind of in a similar position, just off the edge of pavement. And rather than have us, and we said, sure, we would certainly agree to move that hydrant back. That's no problem.
I see, yeah, thank you for finding that hydrant that Mr. Meskis pointed out a couple of times. All right, I see the 5-foot walk, and then there's also the 5-foot walk still remains on North Main Street.
Correct.
And both of those are in the public way.
Combination of in and out of the public way, because the traveled way, the pavement of North Main Street in front of, I'll say, lots 18, 19, 20, 21, gets so close to the right-of-way limits of North Main Street that getting the grass plot and then the sidewalk ends up having the sidewalk go just over the property line in that area, the area of lots, units 18 through 23.
It goes into your lot.
Yeah. And similarly, in a similar spirit, I would just note that we're proposing to give a parcel, sort of triangle of land over here on L. Stevens Road to the town, because actually right now, exactly where I'm putting the tip of the pen is the edge of the traveled way, the pavement you drive on L. Stevens Road, and it's actually in the applicant's property. So we would transfer a triangular property that would put it in the right of way, and would also put the new sidewalk in the right of way.
In the right of way, yeah. And our bylaws also point out the preferred place for a sidewalk is in the property itself and not in the public way, the public way. Just for safety, that road, North Main Street, I'm sure we'll hear from the community, is a very busy road. We had discussed the dangers of putting a sidewalk so close and encroaching towards North Main Street and putting that in the public way. Not the preferred location for it, but of course you can't move it because you're already adding another sidewalk into the driveway area, and you have the wetlands to contend with. You just can't push that whole area back any farther to allow more front space or front greenery or sidewalk space. But that's definitely a safety concern to have those sidewalks in the public way.
Now, they're responsible for the clearing of snow on the sidewalks as well as, just like they have the roadway?
Yep.
Okay.
In the parking areas.
Yeah. They're just that.
Yep. Anything else from the members, and then we'll open up the public. Thank you. Good, let's open it up to the public. We're continuing this. Please.
So, Ashley Brisboe, 32 L. Stevens Road. Nope, over the corner, top left. So I remember the last big meeting we had, addressing all these concerns with the amount of units with the wetlands and everything like that, just the amount of space that it's taking up. One of the biggest concerns that you guys as a board had was the fact that there was a dead-end road, with safety, with fire trucks and everything like that. You guys had a real big issue with having a dead-end road be on this property. And I just haven't heard that being brought up tonight, because that was definitely a concern that wasn't addressed with these new plans. And it actually looks like the road extended even closer to my own property, which obviously I don't like, but, it still is a dead-end road, and that still poses a safety concern,
Yep,
for
it
sure.
is.
I do love the fact that the drive has been taken out of that little corner on L. Stevens, because that, you know, I appreciate that you guys took that, community feedback seriously, because it is a very dangerous corner there. So I love that change. In general, like the wetland boundary where you were removing units to try to come away from those wetlands, I've noticed that really the only thing that's kind of moved away from the wetlands is those units kind of right in that little berm where you put the dog park and everything like that. Unless I'm mistaken, I couldn't find the old plans on my phone.
Sure.
So that was
Do you want to respond to each one, or, I mean?
Yeah, anything else?
What?
Please, hold on a second. Yeah, please, yeah.
just as we were all talking,
Yeah.
I made some notes on everything. That was really the only space, and that is pretty much the furthest space from the wetlands where they removed units from. I noticed there's still units and roadways very, very close to the wetland boundary on Olga. So really the units that were removed, which I appreciate the effort to try and minimize the footprint, it was done in a place that was the furthest place from the wetlands to begin with.
Doesn't help you much.
No. And then I know with sewer, I was just on the sewer website and I'm not quite sure, but they said that they were moving to extend the moratorium to August 3rd, 2026. I don't know if that actually happened or not, but it would be curious to figure out if it did, because they're saying that the capacity is 100,000 gallons per day of residential like sewerage, 50 gallons per day to be reserved for residential, and 50 gallons to be reserved for commercial. And I don't know, with commercial, we haven't really had, I haven't looked at a sewer map, to be fair, but I know with this being downtown, again, I've brought it up several times before, the ability to add anything to downtown. Not that it's their issue, but if there was another plot close to a sewer line, they would not be able to, like a grocery store like everybody in Charlton has been clamoring for. They would not be able to accommodate that with sewer.
All
if we
the
approved
grocery
this.
stores go to Shrewsbury for some reason. I've never been able to figure that out.
It's 40 minutes away, I swear, it's crazy. And Stop and Shop is
Trader
super
Joe's here.
expensive. I mean, those are my biggest, still, my biggest concern is it's pretty dense right on Olga, and that was not addressed, it was actually extended. So,
So if I could just respond.
Thank you. Please.
We should add point by point opportunity. The turnaround at the end of Olga Lane was reviewed by the fire department. They didn't have any objection to it. The area over here where we removed 3 units, we actually, in addition to that, pulled back the grading some because we could do so and still provide a dog park area. So it wasn't just a matter of taking out the units. We took the opportunity to pull the grading over. We extended, in the course of adding sidewalk, the way we made that happen was we extended the amount of retaining wall there so that we did not push the proposed work any closer to the wetland than it already was. So we have tried to be sensitive in how we've made these changes and the effects of them. And again, as I said, where we, especially in this area, pulled grading further away, try to take advantage of how the changes allowed us to be more sensitive.
Thank you.
We haven't, ignored the concerns expressed.
Thank you. Anyone else, please?
My concerns are still privacy and
What was
noise.
your address? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, 36 L. Stevens Road, Sarah Clark.
and it looks like now it's pavement behind their house. I can't really see the
Yes.
sort of, any sort of landscaping that they've proposed, whether they're keeping a lot of those trees, because it's all woodland back there.
Are we, through the chair, I'm not sure if we're talking about this area here or this area
Both.
here.
Both.
We're proposing, and we have for multiple iterations of the plan now, a privacy fence along this property boundary, and I believe it extends just a little, yeah, okay, here it is. The privacy fence extends back behind Unit 29, past the property corner to L. Stevens Road. And that's been,
How high is the privacy fence?
oops. 6 feet. I think they're correct that it is 6 feet.
How high are your units? with
Obviously, they're
their-
higher than 6 feet.
So there's no
That's not privacy.
Do you want you'd expect the privacy fence would be 24 feet high?
No, but something other than a fence
Something
would be
maybe
better.
other than a fence?
There's no, a privacy fence isn't
Which was
privacy
brought up
if
before,
somebody can
doing-
see down
putting
into
in the
the
trees.
place where you're trying to block.
Something that's gonna grow?
Well, there are actually 5 white spruce and 5, I'm looking at the landscaping plan, 5 Norway spruce, 10 trees along this line behind the fence. And let me see what is proposed, has been proposed here. Sorry, I'm trying to read the landscape plan on the fly here quickly. Okay, yeah, more spruce and junipers on the fence over, on this side. And that's been from, again, as I say, through a couple iterations of the plan.
I just, he didn't receive the updated one, and I didn't ask, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Sure.
Now that you've extended the road a little bit further toward my property line, would there be an opportunity to put some of those big white Norways and all those big
Yeah.
pine trees, so that, because now there's gonna be lighting down there.
Green giants or
It's really pushing towards my side of the property where I will be seeing more of those units and the drive and the lights. So really that corner up where the very, very end of Olga
Sure.
is, you know, a good amount of them so that I'm not bothered by any of that would be
Look like-
ideal if there isn't already, but.
Did look like the lighting plan stretched into and onto the property over there.
No, I don't think so, but your
Lighting plan L2.
request, the landscaping plan shows tree plantings on here, but it does not show proposed tree plantings here, and we could certainly do that.
So the lighting plan in L2, I see like a shaded area. Is that where it's projecting onto and then it goes from Olga Road?
Well, I mean, you're looking at, unfortunately, it's hard to look at on 11 by 17.
Yeah.
On the full-size plan, you can see that most of those numbers are zeros. And they're just showing that there's not light extending onto the abutting property.
Okay, thank you for mentioning that. I can't read that.
No, I can't either.
Yeah.
I can't either, and I know that the ones at the end of it, I know that those are zeros, and it's just,
I hear it. Yeah.
it is hard to distinguish, unfortunately, 11 by 17.
That was,
Yeah.
the dead end was pretty much my biggest.
So the privacy fence, maybe higher trees, you're asking for green giants or something grown, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Something that's gonna block
If
out
it
the
has to
light,
be
the
there.
noise.
Yeah. Right. Got
It's
it.
still really dense. That was the closest point to the wetlands, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. So,
Please. Dombrowski.
Where does the plowed snow go?
Please.
We indicated on the plan multiple snow storage areas. One in particular right here, another one off here off the end of Olga. And trying to find the other one off of the back of the parking spaces here. And with the idea in each case that runoff from it would get into the drive in question and go through the drainage system rather than, we very distinctly did not propose like a snow storage area here where it would melt and then go wetlands. It always has to go through the site drainage system before getting out.
So I saw 2 snow storage areas, right? One at the end of Olga and one at the.
Another one here, off the end of these, so 1, 2.
Oh, yeah, I see it now, in the middle of Olga.
Yep,
Like
3,
snow storage where the,
4.
mailboxes are?
Oh, yeah, there's a whole,
It's close to where the mailboxes are, yeah.
Well, I think the idea is it's being pushed beyond those parking spaces.
And that's the only one on Drive A is?
No, there's another one beyond the parking spaces between units 17 and 18.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow, right. It's triple overlapped with text there, sorry.
triple overlap with what?
Text, there
Text.
are about 3 labels on the same spot.
Yeah. It's still pretty good though. Please.
Does the drainage come under planning or conservation?
Both. Yeah.
Okay.
There are detention basins under, the driveways. Mr. Petro's better at explaining this than I.
Sure, the way that Drive A runs now, this is all downhill. The low point of the drive is over here. This would rise a few feet to the intersection with North Main Street here. Drainage would all be picked up by catch basins, run through drain manholes, go through what's called a CDS, stormwater filtration unit, into chambers in the ground here. And then beyond that, its outflow would go over an infiltration trench. On Olga Lane, everything that's picked up goes through catch basin, drain manhole, again, CDS, stormwater filtration unit, and gets discharged to a infiltration trench. I'd also note that there's one more infiltration structure. The roof runoff from these units will be directed to chambers in the ground over here. And we submitted a couple iterations now of a drainage report, which was reviewed by the outside reviewer, which looked at basically all of this site drains to the culvert under L. Stevens Road. But it's not just this site, which is 6 acres. There's really about another 70 acres. We, in fact, made sure we had to check and got plans from Mass DOT that none of Route 20 comes this way. But the properties, how can I best describe it? Immediately to the east of the CVS, and I don't have the, maybe some of the CVS also, but I know the properties immediately to the east of the CVS with the odd materials on the surface. That all drains this way. There's actually just a little off, but maybe it's about 70 acres of land that north of this that comes through this site. And that was calculated for all the conventional methodologies of it, reviewed by the outside peer reviewer. He had a couple comments about change this, add this, show me this more clearly, etc. And I believe we've got a clean review from him in regard to that issue with this last iteration.
Is through the chair, is the construction of the culvert changing or increasing?
We're not proposing to change there's actually 2 pipes at the low point. They're actually, in the scale of municipal structures, they're not that old. They're not new, but you see a heck of a lot of them. And that was what, again, everything was judged by what is the effect of what goes into those 2 culverts.
Please.
So, that's why we're here. Our concern is we're downstream, and because of the flooding at that dip point on L. Stevens Road, back in the 80s, there was an extension of the pipe, and it goes across my parents' property and then out behind here. And with the lack of the open ground being able to absorb the water coming from the 70 acres, and the increased speed of the runoff with all the driveways, sidewalks, we're just concerned, especially if the culvert's not improved down at that low point. There was rain for 2 hours and there was a big puddle. covering the whole road there, so, yeah. So
At that low point, yeah.
yeah, and we were never made aware of the potential for increase in the capacity of runoff.
Well, through the chair,
Please.
the iron rule of providing a drainage report and what applicants have to do with their drainage is they cannot have an increase in the peak rate of runoff from their property to an abutting property. That's I mean, there are other things that you're trying to do with a drainage system and that you're trying to satisfy a town and its reviewers about, but that is the job one, and nothing else is even close, is you cannot have an increase in the peak rate of runoff to an abutting property. And we satisfied the outside peer reviewer that what is proposed. And I would just note, the 70 acres essentially drain and that flows through the wetland. We're not really affecting the flow of the runoff from the 70 acres to the north. And on site, everything that's picked up, again on Drive A, goes through an infiltration structure. This structure is going to be open bottomed, and in the very small storms, a 1-inch rainfall, things like that, it's going to infiltrate everything that gets to it. And after the discharge of this, again, you'll have another infiltration trench. So we are, whoops. And one of the aspects that the outside peer reviewer was reviewing, which is really sort of in the Concom's bailiwick, but you reviewed, DEP has several stormwater management standards. They have 10 of them, in fact. And one of them is you have to show that you're sending to some kind of infiltration at least, runoff from at least 65% of your proposed impervious surfaces, be they building roof, parking space, driveway, sidewalk. And we showed the peer reviewer that we're actually sending 92% of runoff from such surfaces. The only ones we're not really are a couple of the building roofs. We're just going to collect and discharge. Like numbers 1 through 5 are going to discharge over here. Numbers, what's the only ones? Those might be the only ones. But we're actually exceeding anyway the requirement for infiltration of runoff from impervious surfaces that's in the DEP stormwater management standards, and the outside peer reviewer agreed with that.
They have submitted that, yeah. Do you know offhand what the impervious area is, building and parking and?
Shoot. Try to see if I have it in, unfortunately, I only have the outside peer reviewer's letter, my letter to him, and it is in one of the attachments that I sent you. If you look in the stormwater report checklist, in the information under DEP Stormwater Management Standard 3, there are a couple of calculations you have to make based on your total impervious surface. It says, show us that you can, based on these surfaces times certain numbers, deal with that runoff. So you will find that number in there. I don't know it off the top of my head.
I guess another point of concern for the runoff is, what do you call them? Temporary settling basins during construction. So there's a bit of a concern with that. You can't construct these temporary settlement basins, obviously, in the wetlands. They're going to have to be in the 50-foot buffer zone, I'm sure. And something like 1 acre of impervious, you need 3,600 square.
It's not impervious. It's through the chair.
Please.
DEP's standard is that if you're creating a temporary settling basin, which is, you're in the middle of construction.
Right.
You've cut trees and you have bare surface area, and you're directing the runoff from that area to a depression that you make in the ground, that you're trying to collect it and let silt settle out. How big does it have to be? And DEP says for every acre of area draining to it, whether it's impervious or not, you've got to have at least 3,600 cubic feet of space, of volume in that depression you create. And in this case, our easy and obvious choice is going to be to start the filling here, but leave this area under the,
Yeah.
what will future be the dog park and in future be a grill area as the temporary settling basin for Dry Valley.
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned that you are not going to have enough room for that much during construction without impinging and getting very close to the wetlands boundaries. There's certainly going to be some disruption even within the 50-foot boundaries for these. I think the total disturbed area is 2.5 acres for this project.
I would just note also that the other obvious choices are any of the building pad locations, especially on the opposite side of the drive from the wetland. All of these areas here, where this block of buildings of units is shown, where this block is shown, where this block is shown, you could be constructing this roadway and dig a depression there, and dig a depression there, and dig a depression there. You actually have,
How
in some
deep?
ways.
What do you think?
Again, you're just looking for how much area you're picking up. And if you think of it, again, 1 acre, 3,600 cubic feet, if you had think of this block, this is 6 units, that's 120 feet. If you had 120 feet by, think of the footprint of this again, 120 feet by 30 feet, that's 3,600. If you just had it 3 feet deep, now you've got, you could have 3 acres of area total drained to that. You could have a swale leading through here, have blocked at multiple points where you try and take out some silt, all leading to a settling basin there. You actually, because the area that's being worked on is really not that large, I think you actually could do it. I understand the concern, it's perfectly valid, but I think because these areas are not that large, the area disturbed wouldn't be that great, and you could actually, I think, pretty easily do a temporary settling basin or multiple basins for it.
So it is cubic feet, not square feet.
Correct, 3,600 cubic feet, yeah. And if you had, let's say you had built up this drive in the course of construction, you may be able to make a relatively deep depression here that doesn't have a huge footprint, but you could make it 4 feet deep because you've filled, this 6 feet plus.
Yeah.
So actually, I think that is something that we can pretty reasonably handle.
We've gotten some tremendous rainstorms with other construction projects that had overflowing detention basins for that, and way over the silt fence and all of that.
And we'll discuss this with the Conservation Commission. One of the, I think the biggest things is we say in our plans that nothing should be left open that's not being worked on. It should never be open 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks. And our prescription to deal with such an area, let's say they've carved out this and they're not going to do anything right here, right now, is to cover it with stump grindings. Because that's like the best thing you can do temporarily for stabilization.
So being in the village district, just back to this topic again, we created this a decade or more ago in order to encourage mixed use in the downtown area where there's pedestrian traffic and small-scale retail mixed in with residential housing, obviously. Any plans for that on the site? No.
And it's still rentals, correct? It's not for sale? So these are temporary people living here, not actually
Homeowners.
Not actually homeowners, correct?
I mean, we manage properties though, we have a management team that manages all the properties.
No, understood. I'm just saying, like, their investment in Charlton isn't buying land in Charlton, they're renting in Charlton. So
But they could also be from Charlton as well.
Yeah. But they're, I guess tax-wise, these people are here, they're not all going to be from Charlton. Using our fire, which is, we have a brand new fire department that's coming, but schools, ambulance, all those things. I mean, it's still just a very dense thing.
Property taxes still get paid.
Yeah, but per family, right? Like, how does that, if there's kids and stuff, that's, they are not paying it, they could have a couple kids and put them in those rooms, and that's not gonna cover the amount of money that it goes into, you know, putting those kids through school, putting them on the bus system's already stretched.
I respect your, I think that's not fair though, and there's, I mean, we need rentals, not just Charlton, Massachusetts, the whole country. It's something that is a necessity, and, you know, we're not just pulling this out of thin air, so, I don't think that these being rentals or ownership changes the fact of what it is, just my opinion. There are plenty of people who cannot afford to purchase a home that need to rent, especially in this current climate.
Yeah, thank you. Anything else from the public?
I'd still like to see I think when you finally get a site plan, does it specify exactly how many bedrooms are there? Because I'm hunting for 2 bedrooms.
66.
I know, but it's not on a plan, is it like?
There is, yeah, it should have been, yeah, it was submitted, yep.
It's in here somewhere.
The footprint of the
Because they can
building,
modify on
yes,
the building
yep, for
permit.
sure.
We would never get any.
Yeah.
Not
We would
that
never
you
do
do
it,
it, but you know, people
No,
will make
it's-
a den,
no,
a bedroom, and then the school.
No, they're
Apartment
both
size,
full-size bedrooms.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I'm sorry, I have one more.
We usually just
We
deal with
wouldn't,
the out.
they could modify
Yeah.
the build, like, we don't approve by, like, apartment.
You don't buy
Bedrooms or
Yeah.
something, no. So if they could somehow, you know, squish it in so they could get 3, they could get 3, but, I mean, it doesn't.
We wouldn't either way, but yeah.
But you need that for
just
water,
note that,
sewer, right?
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna segue to that, is,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah,
you brought up
so-
the application for sewer. The application for sewer is for 66 bedrooms,
Okay.
2 bedrooms each of 33 units.
Can I also
Ashley,
say that,
please.
like, I'm sorry, I keep thinking of things that we've talked about in previous meetings that, again, are not addressed by these new plans, is the green space for people to play in. I know you've added all this parking, and sidewalks and all of that stuff, but, there's still not a lot of space for anybody to congregate outside of pavement, and I think the biggest thing.
Well, Bill, you
is-
did, you mentioned that about the amount of
Yeah.
usable space.
Yep.
So we-
Okay, so
we-
that's
we're-
covered in
it's-
that, okay,
Well,
okay.
it's not,
Well,
it's
but
not
we-
available.
It's on, we got it.
There's a dog
Oh, okay, I
park.
just wanted to.
And the grill area beside it.
Yeah, yeah.
Dog park and grill
Right.
area.
But it's a dog park, it's for
Yeah, yeah.
dogs,
Yeah.
it's not for humans,
Right.
you're right up against the main street, it's just, again.
So it's not only the wetlands, but also the riverfront radius, right? You can't, you know, that has to be taken into account
There,
as
there
well.
is,
Thank you, good night.
in one of the detail sheets in there, which was,
Yep.
from the beginning, we've included it as part of the plans to satisfy the Conservation Commission.
Right.
This stream is judged as a perennial from beyond this property.
Right.
And so if you look on one of the detail sheets, maybe it's D.
D5, I see it,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, there it is,
Right,
yeah,
area
yeah.
radius, yeah.
You have only so much, when you have a stream, perennial stream officially begins here, you have 100 and 200 foot radius circles you draw out
Yeah.
from that, and you're only allowed to alter so much of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, right. So
But-
with the wetlands, that's a total of about 135,000 square feet, which you take off from the gross, and then that obviously reduces your upland to about 154,000 square feet. And so the building and parking coverage, I'm guessing, by my calculations, are about 43,000 square feet. It was about 25 to 30% of footprint is building and parking and all of that, so.
But
that's-
the building coverage allowed was 60% in the
Yeah.
village zoning district.
Right, yep. But it's a lot, you know, more than the 8%. It's certainly unoccupied space, 91 is not accurate because, again, you can't include wetlands. One of the unoccupied spaces is in our bylaws, 200-51, paragraph 4, I think. It talks about multifamily has to have at least 50% unoccupied land, and that unoccupied land, you cannot count wetlands, because again, you can't landscape wetlands.
And you can't plant them.
And you can't plant in it. And so, you know, it's, we're really pushing up against these boundaries, and that's why you don't see this open land. You can't play in the wetlands. You can't go biking in the wetlands, so. That is the whole spirit, and I think we're not exactly in harmony with the spirit of this zone that we're in, but.
Through the chair, I respectfully, so I know you guys, there was a bunch of duplexes just built adjacent to
Yeah.
our, there's no backyard, it's
Yeah.
very, very minimal. And again, I'm not here to argue, I think we're doing our best with what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And I think with newly constructed duplexes right
Yeah.
adjacent to that with absolutely
Right.
no yards.
Yeah.
You know, I think,
Yeah.
that has gone by as well.
I hear you, Mr. Markopoulos, and I think that on a one-by-one basis, maybe we get a waiver because we want a duplex in here, but to add the 30-plus units in here, we're looking for a waiver of each one of the encroaching into the 50-foot boundary buffer zone, 100-foot buffer zone. I just don't think that's, I'm not speaking for conservation, but that's certainly a bad precedent for planning and zoning to allow such encroachment into the buffer zone.
And if I'm not mistaken, is that a trigger, those boundaries?
Yeah, for sure, yeah, yeah.
James? It's not.
It's a trigger for review.
Yeah, you need conservation approval, but I think it's also, I mean, for us, from a precedent, we can make our findings based on precedence and harmony of the zone and safety and, you know, other community aspects of the zone as well, because this is under the purview of this special permit that it is.
And were those two resident, I know there's, like, my lot is residential, their lot is residential, and it's kind of sporadic, there's these sporadic residential lots amidst the village district, so I don't know what those particular
Those were village.
ones were.
They're in the village, yeah,
Okay,
those are village.
but I know there's one up
Yeah.
top, I don't know if that one's, I think that one was residential, and there's some, I mean, if
Wasn't that
you guys don't
cleaned up
have
and
to
changed
come,
during
not
the
every
summer, didn't it?
building has to come in front of you guys. This is
Right.
a special permit for this particular
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
project.
right.
You know, those were
Yeah.
residential and it didn't have to come in front of here.
Absolutely, I agree.
So
You're right, you're right.
they would have
Yeah.
had something
Great.
to say.
So I mean, what I'd like to do, close the public hearing, and then review this and maybe come up with our findings and a decision at our next meeting.
Do we close it, or do we keep it open and close it at the next meeting before we?
I'd rather close it tonight, and then we could review it just internally ourselves
Yeah,
and have our
we won't
findings.
allow any
I really don't want to introduce more information into our decision making. I think we've been at this for quite a while.
Way too long.
Yeah.
My weekly calls are getting annoying, I'm sure.
Mhm. Oh, thank you for.
Well, it's a complex plan, and
Yeah, it's complicated.
and there's a huge need for housing, but it needs to be safe and sort of, you know,
Mr. Chair, can I,
Please.
just because, and I was looking at the memo, and as I think I've mentioned to the board, I was not involved with this at the outset, but this goes back to at least June of 2024, not
Yeah.
2025, 2024. You can just imagine all the work, time, effort, and expense that my client and James have gone through. Some of the things that it sounds as though this development being in proximity to wetlands within certain buffer zones is a non-starter.
That's a huge factor. And I think what happened was we really didn't, there were a lot of iterations to the plan at, you know, some small levels like increasing driveway distances and radiuses and where to put the sidewalks, and then come back next meeting and we'll review with these, and then just looking at it from an overall point of view after we got into this, it's like, look at how much of wetlands goes right through the property. So I apologize, maybe it took us too long to realize from an overall point of view what some of the bigger obstacles that we should be concerned with are on this application.
I thought conservation deals with wetlands.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So do we vote on wetlands?
Well, because this is a special permit, we have a lot of say about the project itself. Like, you know, I joke around about, you know, having very
I think we deal with
pretty-
the precedent of it and.
So my question would
But
be, if
not with
conservation, we satisfied conservation, would that satisfy you guys?
make us feel a lot better, but
Yeah, that would help, but I still am concerned, and I think the planning board does have purview of precedence over this with such a development. I think we've seen waivers before, of course, into the buffer zone. Usually these are single-family houses, not a large development such as this. That precedent would certainly stop with the planning board, and, you know, conservation would obviously get their concerns and findings on their own, but I think we could make a determination in our finding just based on that because it's such a big development.
Can I just understand, because I know there's, again, before I was involved, there was quite a bit of inquiry and due diligence by your Conservation Commission. And then it was kicked over. You haven't met with the Conservation Commission
Oh, in some months.
in the months. Meanwhile, we've been meeting with the Planning Board. And I think that was a request amongst your colleagues, amongst the two boards, that I think we worked through the Planning Board issues, concerns, and then sequentially go to the Conservation Commission.
Right.
And so now, going back to what I was saying before, the way you described it, Mr. Chair, it sounded as though we've met, there have been multiple iterations of the project. You had a request, you had a concern, she had multiple concerns. We addressed every single one of them. This is as clean as a memo as you could get from your own peer reviewer.
Right.
But then, over time, you said, you took a step back and looked at the big picture and said, this is encroaching into the buffers too much. We can't accept this.
Yeah, that was one, and there's certainly a list of reasons and findings. That is one of them I think we should definitely pay attention to. That's a big one.
Respectfully, was that not your position on day one when you looked at these plans? Because this, yes, the units have contracted per everyone's request. That was the feedback.
Yeah.
And we went through all of the changes, right? There's been many, many changes. But if wetlands, proximity to the buffers, within the buffers and to the wetlands was the issue, it seems to me you could have told George months ago, this is a non-starter for us as the planning board.
Right. Yeah, I apologize,
Go do
Counselor.
a different project.
I agree. We should have come up with this as a priority into it, and I think I mentioned at last meeting, like I'd like to close this, take a vote, and get to our findings immediately before wasting more resources on iterations of plan. I agree.
Are you asking us to vote this evening?
We don't want to waste your time, Randy's time, the peer reviewer. We've basically funded the peer reviewer. I don't know how much money going through this. Multiple little comments that James has addressed, engineering.
So yes.
No, I'm not saying that. We don't want to waste any more of anybody's time, including George's. And George has been paying everybody, including me, James, everybody. I'm getting a sense, at least it sounds like from the chair, that if we were to take a straw poll, that the vote would be, and we need a supermajority, right, Randy?
Yeah.
On the special permit. I think I know where the chair stands, that it would be no, after all of this, months, going back to June 2024. The answer would be no.
Right.
We are willing, and we've been more than flexible, and George has put in thousands of dollars in design costs to try to make this right. This is a modest-sized project, and we're willing to even continue this to come up with something that you guys are comfortable with, but to hear that this is, that basically the wetlands, that's the big theme tonight. It wasn't, you know, some of these other meetings that I've gone to, that's a non-starter. I'm sort of beside myself. Because if I'm George, as the developer coming into this town, having a history, you know, his family having a history in this town, being open and honest about it, making all the changes, bending over backwards to appease the neighbors, to appease this board, the peer reviewer, and now at the end, too close to the wetlands, something that could have been identified on day one, he may not have bought the property.
It is good to check for understanding early in the process, I agree with you. What we're gonna do is close the public hearing, we're gonna deliberate about this, and we're gonna come up with our findings for our next
Just,
meeting.
if conservation looks at this thing and says that they're good to go, then, you know, I don't think you have anybody, right now, I think it's a huge improvement to what's there right now. It's a mess, it's a mess, and I think that this would be a decent project. So, I don't know what you're thinking, Bill, but just the comment that came out made it sound like it's a no, it's not a no-go to me. I think that it's a doable project. It just, I'm worried about what conservation's gonna say, but if conservation's happy.
Thank you.
So just so you know.
Completely reasonable.
That's what I mean,
And if I'm not gonna speak on behalf, George, please interject, but if the town, we're working with the town, it's not only you amongst yourselves as colleagues, but your colleagues in the Conservation Commission who have this jurisdiction, you have a conservation agent who has this expertise. Typically, in most communities, you try to sort of stay in your lane and not supersede.
You're right, and we're not. In fact, we haven't heard back from sewer either. So what if they come in and
I mean, that's what
this with the moratorium?
Mr. Chair, we'll let that.
Then that would be the same scenario that we're in.
But that's what I think, I mean, at least.
That's their jurisdiction.
Go through that, and if
We'll go through these.
I mean,
Right.
we, and then with conservation, once we know the project is a go through conservation, then it's worrying about, what do we need to have for privacy fences or
Yeah, the
trees in
aesthetics.
between of all those things, because that's all, especially with a
Right.
special,
Yeah.
permit, you could be very flexible, and there's all sorts of ideas to make it so it's better for the neighbors with lighting and everything.
Right.
So, I mean, I'd be upset if I spent $100,000 for, and I think that,
If I may,
Bill, you just made it
if I
like
may,
the comment
again, I
sounded
think-
like, so we get.
I think the frustration comes in the total miscommunication between the planning and the conservation. Because we've been on the meeting for conservation for months, 6, 8, 10 months. And everything's go through planning and then
Right.
come to us.
I know, I am not on the board and I am not you spending the money, but from day one, conservation has been an issue. Now, if it's legally within the rights of conservation, like conservation says, yes, with our bylaws, this is fine, okay, that's okay, but this is what the precedent set for the town does fall on you guys. And if this is approved, what does this allow other people to do? And conservation may have their say and say, yeah, sure, but there's a duty that you guys have as a planning board to plan the right things for the town, not just the things that are within the legal lines of everything.
With no disrespect, your opinion is one opinion.
Right, and like I said,
There's a big population in
resident.
Charlton growing, and
Right.
I'm sure there's plenty of people who see the need for this.
Of course.
This brings healthy income to the town. These people are spending money in this town, to these small businesses. It's not just renters. There is a big ecosystem here. And I respect your opinion. A lot of our changes is because of your opinion.
But I think like what he's trying to say is that like conservation can have their opinion, but you guys as the planning board, because this is a special permit, this is your, like, it comes to you guys to make that determination because it's a special permit.
Which I respect.
Yeah.
What you're saying is their determination should be no, because
No,
this sets a
I don't.
precedent. Well, that's what you're implying.
I would love it considering that there's still a road behind my neighbor's house.
But let's
But-
not, because nothing else can be done,
Sure.
because we're still waiting for conservation sewer and everything else, so it's not worth having having our debates or
Yeah,
anything.
sure.
Let's, I mean, let it go through the right channels
Right.
and, it's way better not to have the conflict. We want projects, we're the planning board, we want to develop our town.
Yeah.
We're here, safe and nice and we have a lot of people that are selling their homes, that are retiring, that do need apartments in town. So we're not just, I know
Yeah,
you're saying,
which is
you know,
fine.
people aren't moving from all over, to come in and, a lot of times people could sell their homes and they need apartments too. So it's that
And it's a good
flexibility,
point.
that balance
Yes.
that we're looking at. And we also, if you look at the history of our board, we've always made decisions to protect our neighbors. Very rarely you'll see that we let things, and we kind of say like, screw you guys, we don't. You guys, you're always in our decisions. So, but let's kind of see what the rest of our great committees and commissions.
I appreciate your comments. Mr. Chair, if we could entertain, because of all of the comments that have been collectively submitted in the course of all these communications, in the course of your peer reviewer doing his due diligence, I think the project is at in my opinion, a very good point in terms of its design, layout. A lot of the things that may not be readily apparent, I think James checked the box on almost every single thing, except this wetlands issue.
Yeah.
Could we, and again, I don't know how we even got into this pattern of we can't even go to the Conservation Commission until a decision is rendered by the planning board. Now, in hindsight, I mean, maybe
Yeah,
all
I
of
think
us,
that's-
I guess I should have asked the question before too. I suggest, per what you were just saying, that we go through that process, the commission that has the jurisdiction, go through it. We, like the sewer, like you mentioned, Mr. Chair, we filed that application, we're gonna go through that process too. And if we're stopped because of moratorium or whatever the case may be, then that's it. I mean, and Conservation Commission, if they, in their jurisdiction, their expertise, it's in their bailiwick, that they decide that this is not a precedent that they wanna set with respect to the wetlands, and then so be it. You've got a lot easier path at that point. You just point to the Conservation Commission.
Yeah.
I feel like the project, we've really been more than reasonable. I think in
I
terms
agree.
of where we are now,
So rather
can we go to the
than
Conservation
stop,
Commission?
could we
Yeah.
continue
Um,
to see if that avenue, that aspect of review
What's our time
is
limit?
successful?
Well, after we close public hearing, we have 90 days to make a decision, I think, right? But do we have to keep public hearing
But-
open to get feedback from Concom?
You actually, if we had to make some revision to the
Yeah.
plans to satisfy Conservation Commission, but you had closed the hearing,
Yeah.
after you close the hearing, you can't take more information.
No,
So we wouldn't be able to give it to you.
it's based on the information we have.
Right.
The only way
That's
to
the
keep the
argument against closing the hearing rather
So-
than perhaps continuing
I
and
wouldn't want to vote.
pursuing on the Conservation Commission side.
Because I need
Right.
that. If conservation says,
Well, water
No,
sources
no
is
way,
a
or what-
moratorium.
Yeah,
No.
all right. And I think that's one of the reasons probably this got, it's seemingly like it popped up late in the game, but I think many of the meetings that we had gone through was like, okay, you're dealing with Concom. James had given us confidence that, we made an application, so we just ignored the conservation issues and went to the parking and how many mailboxes, how many, how big are the trees, and we had several iterations of that. But then that's why I brought the mention of let's look at this thing from an overall point of view. and look
We'll
at
go
that.
to the Concom.
Yeah.
I think that's necessary.
We're following the
Right.
town's direction.
Right.
We were on hold with respect to the Concom.
Got it. And waiting for our decision to go to Concom.
Yes, and
Right.
so-
So
sometimes
it's
that
a
happens.
reciprocal
I
thing.
don't understand how that didn't work. So this town, there has been, I'm old and I've been on this board for
Yeah,
20-something years.
Right.
So, we've really worked hard to have any project, and this is a decent, I mean, you call it a small project, but it's a decent sized
No, it's
project for our,
not, no,
for our
no,
town.
no, that's respectful,
So it's a,
absolutely.
we usually do everything together in flow, and there's like meetings in the town hall
Yeah.
where all the boards meet, and I'm just not sure how this project
Yeah.
sort of like didn't do that.
I think what happened is, there was a disagreement about how the wetland line that had been previously delimited should be judged. And while a wetland scientist working on behalf of Mr. Markopoulos and a wetland scientist working on behalf of the town were sort of in the point of hashing it out, and they were waiting actually for certain conditions to see what you could show was the case of soils in specifically a couple areas.
Okay.
It got delayed, and then finally, actually, the state passed a, I'll call it Permit Extension Act in, back in I think it was November and of last year, and that actually said that the previous delineation was still active as a result of that. So we actually had waited on the Conservation Commission side months to try and resolve this wetland issue, and then while that was ongoing, we were sort of just focused on the planning board side, and that's why it sort of got sidetracked. It wasn't
anybody's fault, it just sort of.
Right.
So.
Please
can I-
explain that to Counselor Smith so he's not so angry at me.
Can I make a motion that
I'm sorry, I don't
I know.
mean, it's his money, that's really,
And I want my
It's
money,
been-
protect my money.
it's been
too, so,
frustrating.
Okay.
Please, I'm,
I like your
I mean
suggestion.
ultimate
though.
respect to every
So-
one of you, all of you. I love hearing one phrase from you saying that this project is doable. I feel like there's this project, there's hope, and this is alive, and we can do this. We're happy to work amongst your different boards. If we could have done it concurrently, going back months, sure, we would have done that. I honestly don't know how we got put on hold.
Yeah, can't go back in time. Can I make a motion that we continue this? I don't know how we would word that, because we want to see results from all the places.
Awaiting response from Concom and sewer.
At least a month out, perhaps, to give us time to at least go to
okay.
one meeting, and if it need be beyond that, we could do so, but.
And I just want to, I don't want to close the hearing unless you think, because I said we need this information.
Right. There may be something like you had brought up, Ms. Tetra, if something changes, you need to change some boundary line.
The conservation might do something which will cause motivation, and so.
I think it would benefit everybody if it was kept open.
All right,
The question for the applicant though is 2 weeks enough?
No, we were suggesting going a month out.
4 weeks, yeah, into.
No.
The
February meeting or-
the second meeting in February or the first?
There's February 4 and February 18. Doing 18.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
Can I make a motion that we
Good,
continue
please,
the meeting to February 18th?
A second?
Motion is second, February 18th, to continue this. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we will commit to spinning up Concom and sewer, making sure we get some actionable responses from them, hopefully before this 18th meeting. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you guys want my copy?
Now, what I wrote
About trees and
Yeah.
would I go back to them now to have everything we've discussed, or are you guys?
See that is there.
How are you doing?
We
Randy, you
won't
said
go to their
18th,
meeting,
right?
but we'll
February
allow
18th.
the commissioners to talk to each other.
Okay.
I'm sure, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Thanks for coming in. Good night. Drive safely.
George,
All right,
did you
yeah.
get that to Zach?
See if it's on their agenda.
Not sure
How to get to the calendar. of-
Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah, so we still own the building over there, but my father.
Yeah.
Did he live on Osgood Road?
No, we
Just
just
like
like he lives in
ours,
Brookfield,
right?
East Brookfield now,
Gotcha.
but
Have the
There was
same
a guy on
public.
Osgood
Was there?
Right. So they would
From
actually
Family
have a
Pizza?
public hearing.
Could have been my uncle maybe.
Okay, yeah, because I did
Yeah,
go to
so
the
we had my
conservation
cousin
ones
Irene,
until
who
dark.
was running it, and then my uncle Bobby,
Thanks for
Okay.
your
was in the family.
Of course, I appreciate it.
My father's
Thank you very
sick, so
much.
he didn't work too much inside the business, but yeah,
I was down the street.
yeah, he bought Family Pizza, I think it was well over 20 years ago. Yeah, and they just sold it last year, but.
Nice. All right.
Thanks, guys, I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks, George. Good night.
I would like to see that plan to water sewer.
Yeah.
Because if you recall, like 4 months ago, said it was in.
Well, they're gonna ask
It
them,
wasn't in.
like you said, how many bedrooms, what's the flow rate we're
Yeah.
talking about here, so.
So I'll call.
That was it. We had a public hearing for Fabio Cesar Esteverne. It's continued to January 21st. Can we get a motion to continue that?
I move that we continue the Fabio Cesar Esteverne Huntington Hill definitive subdivision plan modification vote to January 21st meeting.
I second it.
All in favor?
Hey,
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I request that possibly move, we have other business on not posting, just to keep, Mr. Hanson.
Thank you.
Sitting around all night.
I was gonna take a nap soon.
Oh, man.
we should have put it up in front
There's
of
another project where he's building a single-family home on North Main Street, which is in the village area. Does not need planning board approval for the single-family home. However, if you're in the village district, you require, if you do not want to put in sidewalks, you have to request a waiver from the planning board. In that particular case, just to give you all, make you aware of what's going on, the town has received a grant and is currently designing a sidewalk from basically the general store down to CVS, with the exception that 35 North Main may take. So in this town at this time doesn't want anybody to really put in sidewalks until they have that design ready to know exactly where the sidewalk's gonna be. They had a couple of duplexes that had been built down the street that they are also, do not want to put in sidewalks, which before the bylaw change, the zoning officer was allowed to approve. Now, it's the planning board's responsibility, and the sidewalk, the town would rather have the sidewalks not put in at this time until that design is done, so.
So they don't know what side of the road the
Right.
sidewalk's going on?
It's gonna be the same side of the road as like 35 North
Okay.
Main, all the way down to CVS. That's the plan. So first we got a grant to do the design, and then we had also received money from Amazon to help with the construction of the sidewalk. So it's not just like a doing something that will probably actually happen. So at this point, Mr. Hanson was to put in sidewalks in front of his house. It might not comply with the overall plan. So in this particular case, it's better to grant him the sidewalk waiver because it'll actually work with the town's overall plan. I mean, the only reason why he's doing it, normally he wouldn't have to, it's just a single family home, but being in the village district, you're required to put in sidewalk, so.
Thanks for staying out of the buffer.
Yeah, I know.
You're just right at the 100-foot buffer.
Oh, yeah.
I see. What's the, I see a little bit of a pad in North Main Street, and so you're
That's,
connecting.
well,
to
that's,
one
I
of
guess my engineer put that there, that's just like, for the water and sewer connection there.
yeah.
Yeah, we've been to conservation, we have an order of conditions on the property, so we went through all that first. And I read the bylaws about the sidewalk, so I asked Kurt about it, and Kurt just said, come in front of the planning board and, you know, ask for a waiver if, you know, and if they will grant it, yeah, basically.
Got it, understood.
So single family, I believe, is by right, yeah, I think so, in the district, yeah.
It's really just the sidewalk,
Makes sense.
motion?
So, yeah, the plan
I
will
make
take a
motion to
vote to
accept-
grant the waiver
I
or
make
not.
a motion to accept or grant the waiver.
And accept the A&R as submitted, granting a waiver of sidewalk?
Yeah, sounds, so moved.
Yeah. Second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a
Thanks,
nice
Mr.
day.
Hanson, good night.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be a really late.
Yep.
I didn't realize our first item was gonna be so long.
Yes.
Anyone else?
A&R.
We have an A&R.
That was it, just that one A&R, Randy?
Yeah.
This A&R? All right,
Do you wanna do that now? Or you,
There's
you don't
Oh,
have
the
to.
Daniels Road in Ramshorn.
oh, that's a different A&R, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's do the A&R now, because I don't really
I don't
want
think I've ever voted for anything in my own road before. I mean, I'm not in a butter, so it's not. but-
Yeah.
because I don't want to really talk about master plan or town plan
Me either.
discussion tonight.
Can I ask a question while he's looking?
Please.
Today I was on a call for 4 hours with the new regulations. That's how long these are. And there were 91 people on the call, and I spoke, and I was talking
This is
with
the
Marcy.
A&R,
He spoke.
Oh.
And so I'd like to follow it up with a letter. It has more oomph, if I can say, Charlton Planning Board than volunteer.
Yeah.
It's along the same lines that we've been talking about all
Yeah.
along.
Do you have a letter? Do you have a draft?
No.
For what you would want?
No, I got off the call at 5 o'clock.
Oh, well, come on, you had hours.
And the red
Copeland,
line
okay.
version was released last night, just before 7 PM.
Yeah.
That's when they sent an email saying, the red line, we're talking about it tomorrow at 1.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine? So,
Yeah, this is A&R for actually 8 lots. And,
Jeez, man, that's a lot.
Ramshorn and Daniels Road.
If you don't get that sent soon, I don't mind holding on to Randy. I mean, if you
Review
send
it.
it, review it, and send it, and kind of the planning board or
yeah,
whatever.
because it has to be there Friday.
All right, so can we have a vote on, oh, do we have to do this under things not discussed, unknown?
Yeah, you can, now that
Let's
you
add,
have.
Yeah.
so we can add that, right,
Yeah.
for her letter, so
Yeah.
we can ask him to help send that letter, because she
Yeah.
has to have it done by Friday.
Oh, by Friday, okay, I
That's
didn't
why-
hear that part. Yep,
Okay.
It's
that's
for
fine.
Friday,
Yep.
so,
That's why, so
I
maybe we
have
can pre-vote.
2 things I discussed. One, I told them I was disappointed on. They're not mandating that they require a decommissioning bond in 1303. They said, well, it's in 980 CMR 110, and the application should contain it. I said, well, you can understand why we're afraid of the word should.
The state should be too, what if the
Yeah.
town can't afford it and the state has to pay for it?
So I'd like to follow that up with, and for continuity, and they had an attorney talk about it, that, well, we'd like them to be close. They are, oh, well, it's okay here,
Yeah,
and it's just mentioned here.
all right.
So it's that and alternate site. If they come before the board with 2 sites, and it's Streamline in Boston, right? And they decide on an alternate site, they don't have to have a public hearing.
Oh.
And that's how the LNG ended up further down.
Yeah, that was an alternate
It was
site.
supposed to be on 20, and then it was supposed to
Yeah.
be closer to Millennium, and then it jumped over to Income. So that Income was not on it. So that's how they do it. So I could
Can you draft something up, send
and
it to
send it
Randy?
to Randy, and you can
Copy
disseminate it,
us,
and then
but
let me
send-
know,
yeah.
but,
Yeah.
Oh, thank
I
you.
think as long as you guys approve it in the meeting, I can put it down as Charlton Planning Board?
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't think
Thanks,
it'll
Laura.
do any good, but we've got to try.
We'll officially vote, Bill, I have no problem if you guys decide on something, I
Yeah.
agree.
You know, the town of Tewksbury is the latest one in the fight for the location of large
Batteries.
energy storage
Oh, yeah.
project.
Batteries?
Yeah, and the
Does anybody watch,
EFSB came in and did like, I don't know, dog and pony show, you know,
Yeah.
'cause, you know, trying to
When there was a
create
fire
nice
in
for
Rhode Island,
everybody,
it was
but
talking about
you're not
brand new.
changing
Oh,
everything,
no,
yeah.
it's just the runoff issues that too. It's,
I know.
they're shoving it down our throats, so. I'd like to see if the town
Yes,
residents
some
would
of the
want
lots
us
can
to
be
dig our
accessed
heels
from
in.
both roads, or some of the lots, not the lots of Daniels Road.
Oh, this is a,
Is this, they're calling it the YMCA, is this,
oh, the Y so
the
The
big.
camp? This is the
YMCA
camp.
camp,
Yeah.
yeah.
They sold the whole camp for.
I guess this is it, or they're splitting it up to sell it.
You're
Is it
making
opposite the
places to
camp, though?
buy up some of their
It's not on the
property.
lake, is it? It's opposite.
Yeah,
Next door.
it's, oh, it's on this side of Daniels.
I don't think it's on the lake
Not on
side.
the lake side, yeah. Where's Daniels?
Tons of wetlands in there. I never thought they'd build.
Yeah, here's Daniels, yeah.
Wow,
It's
look at
on,
that, too.
it's on the other side, not the lake side. Yeah, okay. Yeah, where's the,
There's that little dead end.
is this the
road.
right of, is this the right of way, Randy, for the power? Is that, yeah, easement, 30 feet. This must be that big power line that goes through the property.
Better houses than batteries here.
Yeah,
Boys and girls, they could get there. It doesn't matter on zoning.
Yeah,
So
and this is all wetlands, Randy?
they don't care. So houses are a little better.
How big are these lots? 7-acre lots? 5? These are big lots. 12 acres?
Probably has to be for like the 12 because of the wetlands.
Yeah, right, well, exactly.
You know, I mean, 'cause you gotta think sewage and,
Yeah,
you know, 'cause you're not gonna have city sewage under these roads.
and that's what drains into
The
the
reservoir.
reservoir.
What's this?
That must be the.
That looks like a
gas.
power line.
Oh, the
even.
gas
Oh, that's-
lines over
that's
there.
power?
This
Yeah,
is what's
I'm
with the
not sure,
gas.
but that's what it
gas?
looks
Yeah,
like.
Tennessee
Power
Gas is
line.
over there.
what's
There's
within
an
our
app here.
purview?
Power.
New England Power.
So this might be gas. What is this easement?
Paper road?
Net T&T, so AT&T, the phone company? Is there another?
Isn't there a cell tower down there somewhere? No, that's not, that's.
I wish there was. 'Cause
So
we
it
get
Yeah, that's a
very-
dead end
Somewhere
area.
gas line, I
I
don't
can never
know.
call my brother.
Yeah, all right, this is the power line. I don't know.
Utility poles here,
Yeah, maybe there's more poles up there. I
so.
don't know.
Something that's been there forever.
Interesting.
Yeah. What is a shape factor? I've never seen that before. You know what that is?
It's a lot, is it not a,
Shape
It's, not-
factor?
it has to do with the shape of the lot being irregular.
Remember they used to
because of the
hate
wetlands.
fishtail
oh,
lines?
because it's, yeah, it's, there
How
must
do
be
you,
some issue.
how do you calculate shape factor?
What's
Yeah.
that?
How do you calculate shape factor 0.55?
It's probably close to
It's probably a different terminology,
uniform.
it's probably bad terminology, or not
It's
Massachusetts
probably-
terminology.
Or
They
some
have-
other
They have
town.
to show the
Probably one
property at
is
two-thirds upland.
Yeah.
Some sort of uniformity,
Yeah.
so
Contiguous
0.68
upland.
They
is
call
not
it shape,
uniform.
Not-
I've never seen it called shape factor.
Not symmetrical or
Not
something?
symmetrical, I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Never heard of that.
But look at the shapes, it's kind of, they'd have to have something to describe it, wouldn't they?
Look at this one.
So they all have enough
They have
frontage?
frontage.
Where?
Yeah, they have,
Oh, this
yeah.
road?
It's like the smallest.
Oh,
one.
on Ramshorn. One has Ramshorn.
So it's all the way through because
Right
Daniels and Ramshorn, they're parallel, so the lots
Yeah.
are in between.
Yeah.
Oh, this one though isn't. This one is just Ramshorn.
And this guy's carved out, there's one house that's carved out. I'm wondering, when do you think they sell the Y on the lakeside?
Oh, Saturday? Wait a
You
minute.
go to that, I don't think it's. No, that's too much, they get too many grains, too much funny, too many kids go to that camp.
Yeah,
That's like
you're right,
a big
the
draw.
grants, yeah.
They make a lot of money on
Yeah.
that
I would hope that stays a Camden perpetuity.
If they did that, the town should consider, would have to consider buying that to keep that,
Right.
if that did happen.
Right.
Just because
Mm.
it would be great for all of our soccer fields that we need the same, just,
That's right.
wouldn't it?
Just for the town beach.
Town Beach.
I don't know how easy you're gonna be to sell in today's market and everything.
I'll just
There's
have
large
a,
lots.
just ask
So
Chelsea.
what's within our purview, to,
It's an A&R, so all we have to do is, if it's buildable, it's pretty much
If it complies with zoning, so
it seems so.
you'll have this table over here on the left.
Yeah, 'cause actually this,
Notes.
under our stormwater regulations, somebody's gonna find out the hard way probably, 'cause they probably don't tell them. The first 4 lots they build a house on, they don't have to do anything. The 5th house, they have, that 5th house, when they come for permit, there has to be a stormwater plan on the previous 4 plus that house.
But,
yeah.
what are you calling the
but not
fifth?
if they sell each lot individually though, right?
No, the 5th house, it can be, each house can
Even-
be sold to a different,
Developer
Each
or,
lot would be-
so you, I didn't know that either.
yeah, well, a lot of people don't until the 5th house comes in and say, what are you talking about? I
What
gotta
is
do a
this?
stormwater plan for these other 4 properties?
What do you have
Yeah,
to
that's not a well-known,
I've never
The
heard that
fifth
before.
house
Yeah.
gets the,
So who
gets
does,
the,
who
the
looks at that?
Conservation Commission determined that,
Wow,
yeah.
so
I
you're,
can't believe that I didn't know that, and I,
The first 4 lots don't need a stormwater plan. The 5th lot will trigger a stormwater plan for all the lots.
so in all the rest too, that get built, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even not
And
with a
who's responsible?
subdivision, just,
No, I
And-
mean,
and
once
the
it,
builder of
it's a
that-
building permit, yeah, once, you
So
know, you
if,
So
get a
they're
permit
responsible
to
for
build
that.
a house on
individual,
each
so
lot.
if individual people buy
Yeah.
each one of these lots, and then they hire somebody to come in and do this for them, that 4th builder that pulls that permit, they're gonna get a big surprise, they're gonna get a big expense.
Yeah.
What they do.
Who, I've never.
Isn't it, it's like, there's no,
How does that
nothing
trigger?
to tell them.
How does it trigger?
I know,
Like
who's counting?
who says, whoa, that's the
Because it
4th,
could be 10 years
The
before.
Conservation Commission.
how do they catch it?
It must be these and they missed it.
Oh, well, they should, Kurt shares anything, cause he knows what the,
Oh, okay.
regulations are too, so we'll say, hey, Rose, this is
Interesting.
the 5th house
Learn
on
something
the,
today.
you know, in this A&R.
Well, I'll know that if I ever develop houses, it won't be.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? As long as it meets the requirements, we really don't have a say.
Yeah, I think that in the case like this, it should be transparent.
Another one?
So if anybody to buy
Just
it.
not experience, not everything has to be obvious.
I would, I'm surprised that, like, if I didn't know it, nobody knows it.
No,
I mean, not that I know that much, but you,
I have no
like, you
idea.
would have known something like this too, like, this is weird. I'd be
Lenny,
like,
you see this table, agricultural, and then all the numbers? As long as
They
each
thought they removed
lot
something and it-
satisfies that requirement for that zone,
Oh, no, this.
and
Doesn't-
if it doesn't, it just needs to say not a buildable lot on it.
yeah.
And then.
Yeah, it could be 100% wetlands, they just have to
Wow.
mark it, it has to say on the plans not
They were in doing
Yeah.
something else,
Otherwise, like,
and they found out they.
they really don't need our permission, we just sign it because it has to be.
Yeah, we decided that we're allowing
So
them
they-
to
That
do
they
it.
presented
Was they
us
back
with.
And it gives us the
Doing an
data.
hour
Does
survey.
that make sense too? So
We
now
have-
we have it in our system. This happens all the time.
Okay.
So we're supposed to sign
But when
both
I
of these,
woke up,
Sonia?
Yep,
Doctor looked
Okay,
at
so
that,
does it matter who does it first?
I mean,
no,
I had to drink water all the time.
You do it at the top? Well, we should wait for you to sign
you can date it, you can date it though.
I can date it.
And you, no, you can sign it, it doesn't matter. Oh, I make, do we vote to approve
I
this
got, I
thing?
just walk in.
oh, yeah.
I make a motion, we approve this, A&R from Daniels and Ramswan Road. I don't even know what the name of it is because I can't see, but this, the
A&R
young men,
YMCA.
the YMCA, A&R.
Young Men's Christian
That's what I was
Association.
gonna say, and I was like, yeah, but just,
I second it.
Second. Motion and a second, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
Now you can sign it, go ahead,
Good,
do
I
it again.
did, yeah. Now I can sign for the camera.
I'll just walk.
What is that, Randy, what is that called, this stormwater fifth lot?
You know, it's part of the stormwater regulations, I don't know how they actually, I don't know how it's actually titled.
Yeah.
Fifth lot holds the bag.
And that's Rose how it's titled.
That's a good trivia question now, when we have town trivia night. No, I'm joking.
Well, my husband has this really nice podcast that he listens to. It's a guy who's a firefighter and an engineer who reports on all sorts of interesting lithium battery fires.
Really?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I was interested to see what
He knows what he's talking about, so I think it would be interesting. It's quite scary.
So that's what Adam decided, well, he's gonna definitely go to Maine, but.
Oh, he is?
So, yeah, we have to let him your son, but they corresponding with them.
Oh,
and
you want to
he's
take
switching
good
just
his-
want a picture, yeah.
His degree to chemical engineering, which is like the hardest engineering, like nuclear is the only one that's. And he's like, how can you go so hard? He's like, energy. And I was like, yeah.
Okay. Good. Thanks. Any other, what else is on our agenda? All right.
Nothing.
Master plan, we will cover that next week.
I need John for that,
Yep.
definitely.
I saw it in
Alright.
the paper, so that's good.
Decommissioning plan, there's nothing new, although Lori, on the decom plan, that kind of includes this whole
Yeah.
stuff, so thank
Yeah.
you for bringing that up. So we'll say Lori will draft and send to Randy.
Yes.
Draft and
And
Yeah,
it-
just comments that will make it better when we finally do it.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we allow, instead of it going back and forth and us all reading it, unless everybody wants to, it could be copied. We allow it to be approved and sent without it getting in front of us and having any.
In front of the
Shutesbury
entire board.
Planning does that with this Mike Tichara.
Mhm.
He's like their spokesperson
So-
on all solar,
Oh.
so he doesn't have to.
How about a preliminary permission for just a couple of members to decide for the whole board?
Yeah, just for comments.
Yeah.
To put our names on this?
Will it may not make any difference, but.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next question is going to be, we have a special town meeting Monday night. I, as a person, private citizen, wondered if people need to be notified that if they want their town meeting vote of 30 to stand, then they need to give us direction. That means we could be sued, means, you know,
From the state.
yeah, they're forcing us with.
Yeah, I don't know. how
So
that's
I don't know
play.
how it's gonna go, but
I mean,
people are gonna be furious.
Beverly, you mean the 2A?
Excuse
No.
me?
For what,
No,
what,
you're
what
talking about
vote?
something else.
No,
Oh,
no,
no.
no, this is on renewable,
Oh,
on
oh,
forcing
yeah.
us to really throw out our bylaws and go by theirs.
Yeah,
We've
I-
already went by theirs once, so they want us to.
I don't
do it
think
again.
people I don't think
Don't get
the
it.
general population understand this, and I
No.
don't know how to,
That's why they're getting away with it.
I don't know how
It's
to
completely different.
communicate it to like, you know, even our, did you know, all those little community websites that were like started, like if you write up something short, I can share it. Just kind of like those facts, did you, like,
Yeah.
people just don't understand that, like, I'll talk about, you know, the reason why we got the LNG is because they pretty much said, screw you, Charlton, you got
Yeah.
it whether you like it or not, and I know there's a couple of safety issues, and maybe you'll have some, maybe, you know, firefighters will just have to let it burn, but you got it because you gotta supply Rhode Island with their energy. Really, and people like, no, and I was like, yeah, really, I was like, it's the truth, like, we're not like.
And our solar doesn't stay here.
Nope.
It doesn't even stay in Massachusetts, it goes.
So
Wherever
those-
they want.
they just
Wherever.
they don't know, and if we want changes, people have to know that this is,
And again, it's not that we're saying no. I feel like we should be able to say, you know what? Let's wait 3 years, 4 years, let the rest of the state catch up with the parking lots, the buildings in Boston, instead of going, they're accelerating it, and by doing this new accelerating, they're coming out and just
And we all know
land
when,
grabbing.
when things are rushed, whether it's the government or not, but especially with the government, when things are rushed, we screw up. Bad things happen. People die.
Yeah.
You know, things get destroyed. We kill the environment when we make rash decisions. And it seems like we need to have a zero emissions. We need to have that. We need to
By
meet that goal.
2030,
Need
carbon
it.
neutral,
So
and
everybody make random decisions. Everybody do whatever you can to make it happen. It doesn't matter if there's a huge
That's what
explosion.
it-
It's a few
that's
people
what-
die. No big deal. You know, sacrifice the few for the many. But you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I think we're making lots of decisions in the energy world, in the energy spectrum, especially
We've
with
lost
like
track of why we're
solar.
doing it to begin with.
Yeah, and we're we've done our part.
We're doing it for appearance too.
We've done
I
our
mean,
part. Other towns have very little. And anybody inside of 128, they were like, well, keep it out there where it belongs.
Yeah, and until we start having them on every single municipal building and every single top of every single parking garage and everything else.
We're always gonna be at the
Takes too
mercy
long, that's
of
why they don't want to do it.
large, of big forces
Takes too
pushing
long, they
things
don't
out
make
to
it
the
up.
boondocks.
That's right. It's a land grab. Anyway, sorry.
Good.
No, that was
We already
necessary.
spent on solar.
Thank you. We had a couple of other, I just wanted to address these other site visit report. I remember we requested Graves to go out to 241 Sturbridge Road.
Yep.
Excuse me. Which is across from the Incom building, supposedly, whatever, another big warehouse.
Yeah, Route 20.
Yeah,
The one with all the clearing.
they were clearing more, right.
And I guess we really wanted to check to make sure they're not
So it doesn't
clearing
look so
more
good.
than they.
I got you covered. Got a cough drop here.
Okay,
I just
at
got
this
three.
point in
If I
time,
take
that-
cough drop, then I might get a cough. I don't know.
So what'd they say? Do we have it in our packet? Did I miss it?
Yeah, the site
Oh,
visit
shoot.
report.
Yep.
There's so much in there.
So this looked all right, Randy, from what they summarized here.
yeah.
They're not clear, they're not over clearing, they're within
No,
the bounds and everything, yeah.
according to Mike,
Okay.
they're still in accordance with the
Yeah,
plan.
okay. And then he makes some further comments on silt fences and that kind of stuff, which look
And how,
good, so.
how do they,
It's good we
how does
checked it,
the,
though.
how do, so what, the contractor gets a copy of this report and is supposed to respond to it in a timely manner, respond to us, what happens when?
So it looks like he was out there, our engineer was out
Yep.
there with the contractors
Mhm.
doing the site work. So I'm guessing he told them what need to be remedied, and there really wasn't anything that I saw except like
The sediment.
tree, and it's the middle of winter, so they're probably just not doing anything with
Yeah,
it anyway.
roads from the conservation department's been out there numerous times, just
Yeah.
keeping an eye on it. You know, it's a lot of clarity.
And if there was something that Graves picked up, then we would, you know,
Kurt might
get
have to do
involved,
something.
yeah, some interaction would happen.
But we don't have a dictate based on this.
I don't see anything here that's actionable yet for us.
So as far as the
yeah.
sediment and stuff.
Makes us feel better though.
Yeah, it's good, yeah,
Right?
right. It's good feedback, because we
And no
haven't
word of
really-
what it is, like,
Still a big warehouse, with,
Yeah.
like, the site plan has obviously been approved for.
right, a warehouse.
Whatever.
I've just been reading that,
500,000 square foot warehouse or however.
Is it
big.
5? That was bigger than that.
Data centers are sneaking in under non-disclosure agreements.
I thought it was Amazon 5.
Non-disclosure. Public
Yeah.
officials, and it's legal.
With the $10 million that the school's asking for, we're gonna need that money, so we gotta.
Yeah, right.
So then there's another one for 60 City Depot Road townhouses.
Yeah, this one's actually been pretty much a thorn in every department side. We have a developer that he's overwhelmed with the projects he took on, and trying to get money from him for the inspection. He keeps doing work without getting things inspected, so the town has established a fund, to pay for, Graves Engineering to go over to the site, you know, and other people that may have to go over the site to review what's going on. If the developer doesn't pay, or, you know, put a tax in on the property or something, but, or we'll say, like, until you pay us, we won't give you a building permit, you know, so the town is going to take on the responsibility of paying Graves Engineering until the planning board gets the funds, because right now, the last time we had to get money from him, it took 1.5 years. And in the meantime, he's doing all kinds of work without
Right, that's their way of getting rid
inspections
of it.
or approval, so this way we can make sure we keep an eye on them and Graves will get paid, because they get paid by the town to, pay for his services until we get it from the developer.
Right.
Because we will get it one way or the other.
So who owns it, Rockaway or J. Jill?
It's called Rockaway Estates, that's the original name of the development, but, Jay Gador is the owner of the development now.
Okay.
How many units are they able to put in down there?
What's that?
How many units is supposed to be going in down there?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
12, right?
12, 13, 15.
He's gotta be pretty close to that now, I would think.
What's that?
He's gotta be over halfway.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's
As far as
already.
the amount
that's
of
it,
units
he's
getting.
halfway.
Halfway?
And now,
I think he's right there.
Yeah, 'cause this is all gonna be dug out up here, right?
yeah, and he also, build the second half, he has to pave the road. It
Yeah,
doesn't exist
cause I
yet.
tell you, 'cause City Depot Road is, anytime they're hauling out of there, cause they're hauling all clay out, and it's a mess.
Yeah, well, that's
it's
why
a
when
hazard, too, 'cause
the
the clay
runoff
is so
from that
slippery.
property is going
Yeah.
out on the City Depot
Yeah.
Road.
Right.
Because he's not, you know, establishing the proper silt fencing, detention basins and everything, so.
I know probably a couple of years ago, they got, where they had to have a cop on, a detail.
Well, when I went up there in the summertime and they're trying to use a snowplow to push the mud back, it's like, okay, this guy does not know what he's doing.
Yeah, boy, great. All right.
So that was just to give the, planning board a heads up that the town will pay for Graves Engineering services until such time that we'll get the money from one way or the other, so.
Right. Excellent. Okay, any other business undisclosed?
So just, the master plan discussion, we have had a lot of requests, you know, for the RFP that we have sent to people, so I think we're gonna get a pretty big response back.
Good.
You know, people should have a lot of requests from people to get the RFP, so.
What was the deadline date for responses? What did we say?
I can't remember, is it end of January?
Yeah, end of January.
Yeah, I
end
think
of the
so.
month. Okay. Good. All right. Entertain a motion?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
I second that.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.